What's up, boys? How's everyone doing today? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it looks like there's a ghost over here with my lamp on because of the pillows. Freaked me out for a second. What the fuck, man? Oh, shit. Oh, man. Legit spooked my ass out. Alright, boys. What is up, Radu? What's up, Benikia? What's up, Danny? And what's up, Michael? How's everyone doing today? Oh, it is good to be back, boys. It is good to be back. Oh, I can tell you that. Yeah, I think the beta is June. I'm pretty sure is from what I can recall, from what they mentioned in a live stream, I think it was. But yeah, if they do release it in the holidays, it'll be absolutely insane. The numbers will be crazy, dude. Yeah, it will be open beta first. And then it will be like a release thing and that. I don't know. I don't even know what they plan to do, honestly. You have a new PC now? RTX NVIDIA 47. Yo, dude, you have a 4070? What the fuck, Marco? Where's mine, dude? This is unacceptable, dude. But yeah, you're not gonna have any lag now for sure, dude. No lag, dude. Alright. Just need to double check that everything is in operation. It has been some time. 1,700 kilobytes a second. Yo, what the fuck, dude? It's so slow. Do you get wrecked? Eesh. But yeah, anyways. So, chat, how is everyone doing? Yeah, dude, it's gonna be amazing. Going into the new league with the new PC. Oh man, I did that. What, like a couple of months ago? Feels like you're playing new games then. What is going on here? Some spooky music. That's what we like to hear. Alright, so we've got 24 minutes to go. In that time, we can browse Reddit. I haven't touched Reddit or anything. I haven't even checked the forums. Absolutely nothing. Wait, what are you going to do with your old PC, Marco? Alright. Yeah, wait. I want to check hot. I want to see what hot. What's hot, boys? Oh yeah, did you guys see that PoE is on Steam? Well, obviously PoE is, but PoE 2. Where's the, oh yeah. Your screenshots. Also, LPC sounds like car service. Yeah, because the fans are worn out. And everything's old and it's like dusty and shit. Yeah. These screenshots look pretty cool. I was just on it. Look, chat, it says coming soon. How soon? How soon is soon? I don't know. Sounds like it is soon. Why do these look so much cleaner? Probably because it's smaller. New PC is completely silent. Oh man, I love that. Mine isn't completely silent because the fans run pretty hard to keep everything cold. Maybe I'm just, I don't know. Oh no, it's bingo time again. Oh no. Oh yeah, chat, what do you guys reckon is going to be the #1 nerf thing? I know what it's gonna be. Run everything on Ultra and Fury? Sheesh, dude. Okay, I can't run shit on Ultra. No. I'll be lagging horrifically. Guaranteed. New card, Assassin's Gift. Ooh, double implicit Divinarius. Nice. Too late to start, never too late to start. Oh no. Someone succumbed to opening void keys. Oh no. Memories a terabyte? God damn, dude. What did this dude pull? Oh, obviously it's Mage Blood, hey. Yep. Path of Tetris. Interesting. Pretty accurate. Guys, literally only want one thing, Carrick missions. To benefit from Atlas Tree. Wow, yeah. Okay, dude. Sure. Yep. You have a terabyte of space as well? I think I have a terabyte as well. I think. I have a tendency to delete stuff. Oh no, I've got like 2.5. Never mind. Yo, that looks nice. What, dude? What is that? That's crazy. I would like one. Damn, dude. From laser cutting. Nice. That's very nice. Impending doom from a year ago without spell cascade. Yeah. What have I been doing these past months? I've been doing some stuff here and there and all over, but in terms of like playing games, just been jamming some CS and some Dungeon Defenders, and been trying other different games just for fun. You know, just been keeping busy pretty much. Trying to get as much shit done in as little amounts of time doesn't always work. Yeah. People always fall in love with PoE through part of building. Otherwise, what you been doing, Radu? That's from the events? Wait. I want to see the numbers. Show me, show me, show me. $94,000 characters in Krangod passives. SSF 21k. Damn, dude. 21k. That's pretty crazy. Been working, playing in PoE, StarCraft 2 and Apex. Yo, dude, Apex? Nice. Have you been playing ranked or probably just like normal games in Apex and Dota? I suspect normal games, right? Yeah, casual, yeah. Ranked is horrific, dude. I do not enjoy it myself. It really is terrible. Yo, 11 level 100s. What the fuck, dude? In SSF? What? Oh. I see. Yeah, Blast from the Past, everyone was into that, man. 83,000 accounts. That's hectic. Actually hectic. We could Discord it, PC. Give me a sec. I need to disconnect from here and... There we go. Oh, nice. Is your side panel gloss? Man, I am a sucker for glass side panels. It always looks so clean. Yo, why are there so many dogs barking? What is going on in my area? Next second, shots fired. Frost shield bug? No. Affliction is the next chapter in the storyline regarding the Scourge. Affliction, Bane, Correction, Terror, Curse, Paste. I mean, he could be onto something. Control F Sentinel 0. Yeah. We will see in the patch notes about that. Comets. Pull a massive icy chunk from the air, dealing hard damage. Yeah. Rumors they'll bring some kind of sentinels to core. Really? Ooh. Dude, do you know how cool it will be having the just the red sentinels? I forgot the specific name for them. Oh man, it would be crazy. You'd like that? I would like it too, dude. Is your all-time favorite mechanic? I'd say it's like my man. I'd say it's my third favorite, I guess you can say. But only the third because I played most of a Sentinel in group play. So it will probably be my first if I soloed. I'm gonna go sleep. Alright, cool, Michael. Have a good one, man. Hope you have a good day tomorrow, dude. Imagine that Sentinel is implemented in a way, right, into this, into the Atlas tree, right? Like for it to just randomly proc in maps or something stupid. That would be crazy cool. What's up with the MMO tag on PoE2? It is massively multiplayer online game, right? So it's an MMO. What am I starting with? No, but Nick, yeah. What are you starting with, dude? I'm looking to steal a starter build. No. But before the patch notes right now, just like in mind, I was thinking of starting with bows maybe, but I don't know. We will see. First time bows, I don't know. Yeah, we got 9 minutes to go. There's only 56,000 people waiting. Yo, scammers, dude. I thought there would be way more. No. Doing lightning arrow like always, been transitioning into tornado shots. See, I'm thinking of doing similar. Because I really want to play tornado shot myself again. That's the league in a row? Damn, dude. Give me all your secrets there, dude. Come. I know you want to. But yeah, I would really like to play tornado shot. Maybe even turn it into like magic finding or something. That, or I'm going to create like a really fast character. Like just full on damage tornado shot to clear through maps as quick as possible and kill bosses. To do the boss rush early on. So I can sell everything, I guess you can say. And then be able to afford some stuff and things. Will older league mechanics get retired in Affliction? Hell no. You have two plans, Chieftain, Dominating Blow, Sentinel, or Shockwave Totem. Yeah, dude, I reckon that Shockwave Totem is probably the way to go, starting out as a Divine Ire. Or the other Lightning Channel, yeah. But I honestly think that going Totems is... because it just shits on everything, right? And it's not that tedious to play like minions, right? You don't have to manage or care about anything really, because you just spam your totems anyway. And your own survivability is great. Because you kill everything before it can kill you. Yeah. Easy, dude. How much profit do mechanics make? Well, that is crazy question. Like minion play and dominating blow shits on everything too. Well, I mean, go for dominating blow then. Especially with Chieftain. I don't know. I haven't seen Chieftain dominating blow. Have you even played it like that? And if so, how did it even perform? The question for you is, how rare will the Master's Teaching Scepter will be? It depends on how you can acquire it, yeah. Oh, you did? Okay. And what? Does it shit on everything on, like, really low budget? When I say really low budget, I mean, like, I don't know, like, doing a T16 with, like, 5 Chaos Gear, maybe. Because if it does that, oh, man, I don't know then, dude. Maybe I might, I don't know, I'm just saying, like, theoretically, chat, maybe I might. Really low budget? Okay. Send me a paste there. Or the POB. In Discord, please. How you summon minions? Yeah, that's the only issue with it, for me, with Dominating Blow. Alright, chat, I'm gonna, wait, I'm gonna move this side. Yeah, I'm gonna move this side, rather. There we go. I think this is better for the time being, right? Yes, sir. I think it's better. It's in built-in Ancestral Core, yeah, which makes it easy to summon. Yeah, it does make it easy, yeah. Okay, chat. Are you ready, boys? Yo, are you guys ready? Yo. I'll increase quality in a little bit. I'm gonna go and pee quickly. Exactly, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I will try it out this week then. And see if I really do enjoy it. Because I'm kind of feeling minions, but I don't know, man. Like, yeah. I've played minions so often, but we never know. Alright, chat. 4 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna go pee real quick, dudes. Fucking harp, dudes. Let's go, boys. Be right back. Easy, dudes. Alright, boys. Get a draft board both. Sweet, thanks, man. Oh, we'll definitely have a look at them. For sure. Yo, am I allowed enough, by the way? I forgot to ask. It's okay, alright. Starting soon. Starting soon. Oh man. I think it'll look a lot better this way. Alright, chat. Let's go, boys.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. Thanks for joining us for today's Path of Exile livestream. We have a packed show today, with announcements for Path of Exile 2, as well as the exclusive unveiling of Path of Exile Affliction, which launches on December 8th on PC and Mac, and on December 13th on console.
Yeah, boy.
Twitch drops are enabled on today's livestream, so make sure you follow the instructions below in order to claim your Huntsman wings. We'll start with Path of Exile 2, where Jonathan will walk you through our latest announcements. Mark will then take you on a deep dive into the new Path of Exile Affliction Challenge League, which launches in 1 week. He'll cover the league mechanics, its rewards, some new content we're adding to the core Path of Exile experience, and some large metagame changes. I'll then show you our annual core supporter packs, and we'll head into our live Q&A session where Ziggy D will ask us your questions from Twitch chat. After the livestream, we'll drop the full patch notes.
I'd like to hand over to Jonathan Rogers, Game Director of Path of Exile 2.
Hey guys, it's been a few months since we introduced you to the Druid in Path of Exile 2, but one of the things that we're really focusing on now is how varied each of the classes feels to play. The Monk darts around quickly from enemy to enemy, building
Yo,
and
what's up,
unleashing
John?
combos. If he doesn't stay in combat,
How you doing,
he
my
loses
man?
momentum and has to build it up again.
That looks cool. Been very well, thanks, man.
The Warrior, on the other hand, is like a slow but unstoppable freight train. A warrior commits to big attacks and relies on stunning his enemies to stay safe in the thick of combat. When an opening presents itself, a warrior can use even larger attacks to demolish his enemies. The Huntress seamlessly moves from melee to ranged combat and back. The true damage potential of the Huntress is only unlocked when you learn to combine ranged and melee abilities together. And then there are the Spellcasters. The Sorceress is a pure caster who much prefers to stay at range and drop powerful spells on her foes. If she finds herself surrounded by enemies, she would rather use an ability to escape than to take them on directly. The Druid is also a spellcaster, but unlike the Sorceress, he uses his spells as a means to support his melee abilities. And by melee abilities, we mean he can turn into a giant animal and rip his enemies to pieces.
Yeah, I think Druid will be a lot of fun to play.
Each of these classes feels extremely different to play, but we want to go even further. It's time to check out the Mercenary.
Oh yeah, some mercenary action, boys.
Take, so long as the pay's good and a crossbow can solve it.
Got like a scatter shot. Yeah. Shrapnel shotgun. Alright.
I'll take 'em all down, one bolt at a time.
When thinking about each new class, we really try to think about how we can make combat feel different from all the others. For the mercenary, that difference is the crossbow. A crossbow is fundamentally different than a regular bow because it fires instantly instead of needing to be drawn back.
Yeah, it fires
This means that you
instantly.
need immediate feedback. Clicking the fire button should make the character shoot instantly, just like in a shooter. As soon as we experienced that, we realized that there are a lot of design lessons to learn from shooters, and so we fully embraced them. In Path of Exile 2, we have crossbows that work like sniper rifles, shotguns, and assault rifles. But in order to really get shooter-like gameplay, we wanted to go further. In Path of Exile 2, we now support WASD movement.
Oh
You can now
shit.
walk around in any direction independent of aim.
WASD.
In fact, if this is your preferred method of gameplay, you can use it on any class, regardless
That's
of what weapon
crazy.
type you're using.
But then
You can
using
change
flasks
click
is
to
going to
move
be
or
scuffed.
WASD at any time. You can only hold 2 crossbows at a time, but Path of Exile 2 is all about interesting combinations of abilities, and this is where ammo skills come in. This is a burst shot crossbow, and right now I have armor piercing ammo equipped, which makes it very effective when facing a group of enemies, since it pierces right through them.
Oh, but I've just
If
been
there are
doing
other ammos
stuff
too,
here and there to
for a
keep busy,
bigger
you know,
single
man.
target, it might be a good idea to switch to incendiary. The more
Always
projectiles hit the
keeping
target,
busy.
the stronger the ignite. So
Yeah,
you'll
all
want
his
to get up
faces
nice,
enemies when
close
he's
and
moving.
personal
Yeah,
with this
yeah.
one.
I noticed so.
If you have a bunch of targets running at you, you might want to slow them down. In this case, you could switch to permafrost burst shot. Shooting a bunch of smaller enemies at range will chill them, and potentially even freeze them in place. Once you have some frozen enemies though, you can switch back to armor piercing. Shooting a frozen enemy with armor piercing burst shot will explode the ice, doing a huge amount of damage to all nearby enemies.
These mobs deal a shit ton of damage, not gonna lie.
Another feature crossbows have is attachments. This is a grenade launcher. As you can see, when I equip
What?
it appears on the underside of the crossbow. These attachments are just like skill gems, so you effectively get extra skill slots, and you can augment these with support gems, just like regular skills.
That's crazy.
These grenades take a while to explode, so it's a good idea to pair them with some kind of crowd control, like permafrost burst shot.
Imagine the grenades hurt you. Blow yourself up. That's pretty cool.
We have other grenades too though. This attachment is a flash grenade. It does barely any damage, but it does a huge amount of stun. It can be a great opener before you run into combat.
That's pretty neat. You can do the stun and then like freeze and then
Now, here's
like another
attachment,
shot to
an
kill them
oil
off.
grenade. Firing
Yeah,
one of these
oil?
grenades coats the ground and nearby enemies in oil. Oil slows enemies down, so it's another useful crowd control mechanic.
Yo, can you combo with like ignite or something then if they oil? I don't know. Imagine that shit. Grenade cost when
Now,
damage
another thing
taken
that oil can do
permafrost.
is set on
Yeah.
fire.
You can
Any
just run
burning
around
enemy or explosion will
you can
ignite
just
the oil,
run
causing extra
around.
burning damage.
with a bunch of the grenades bouncing around.
One of the problems with burst shot crossbows is that each pellet doesn't do much damage individually. This means that if enemies have armor, then it will be very effective preventing that damage. But thankfully, you can equip an additional crossbow in your second weapon set to deal with the weaknesses of your primary weapon.
Oh, that's cool.
This is a rapid shot crossbow.
You can quick
Rapid
swap.
shot is great for closing on enemies because you can shoot while running. In Path of Exile 2, we now have the ability to allow you to use some skills while moving. Being able to create skills like this opens up a lot of new design space and allows us to really increase the pace of combat.
The pace of combat, he says, chat.
The armor-piercing version of Rapid Shot slowly erodes a monster's
Looks kind
armor.
of slow, man.
Once the armor is fully broken, you can easily
gameplay
switch back
sucks
to burst
ass.
shot
I
to deal
mean,
much more damage.
I wouldn't say it sucks. It looks really awesome, but it just seems slow. I don't know.
Being able to run
sure
while
it'll
shooting
be
with
much
Rapid Shot is
faster.
also great for when you want to perform a fighting retreat.
Like, realistically, it'll be much faster. Love your one shot, the
Using
whole screen,
permafrost
yeah,
ammo with rapid shot is also
dude.
useful if you
Used to
need to
off
retreat.
screening
When you
everything.
shoot the ground, it creates ice crystals. If you draw monsters back over these crystals, they explode, chilling the monsters. It's great if you want to set up a safe zone before pulling the next pack.
What's with all of these, dude? It feels like this is dungeon skills, man. What?
Slowing
Right,
enemies
chats?
down can come in handy if you want to use the incendiary version of rapid shot. Using this skill requires that you charge up a little bit before it fires. But as it continues to heat up, it will do
Fucking
more and more damage.
machine gun, dude. Actual machine gun.
It has a really large clip size, so you can just keep firing and firing with it. But the other really useful feature is that when the crossbow is heated up, it adds extra fire damage to any grenade that you launch. Now I've been using explosive grenades here, but it will work equally as well with flash or oil grenades too. If you use it with oil grenades, the oil will catch fire immediately.
Okay, so you can combo the oil into an ignite. Pretty neat.
Another crossbow type that you can find is Power Shot. This one works just like a classic sniper rifle. Use it with armor-piercing ammo and it will penetrate armor on targets.
Yeah, it looks
it's
like
a good idea
Diablo
to use when
2,
something's
man.
really tough.
It looks a bit too familiar. Keep asking, but no loot, yeah.
Now this skill
Intentionally,
has another
there's no
interesting interaction
loot.
with armor break. If an enemy has its armor
It would be
broken,
cool
then your
if
power
there
shot
was
hits a
loot.
weak spot
Oh
and does
shit,
huge
dude,
amount
a
of
scroll of
target
wisdom.
damage, with a bunch of extra stuns
Yo.
for good measure.
We got a scroll of wisdom, boys. Oh no, dude. Oh. Loot does drop,
The
but then
incendiary
it's
version of
hidden.
Power Shot is more like a rocket launcher. It does a big explosive blast at a distance.
Yo, what?
One of the really useful features of this version is that you can explode any grenades that happen to be on the ground.
Okay. There's so many different combos. Wow.
This combo also works really well with incendiary rapid shot. I'm going to charge up the heat on my crossbow, shoot out a bunch of grenades, and then start the fireworks with a power shot.
Start the fireworks. Cool.
The ice version of Power Shot creates frost walls at a distance. This is great for crowd controlling monsters in tight passages. The wall segments have other uses too. If they get destroyed by
wall.
monsters, then they will explode, doing a small amount of damage.
Doesn't look like it's doing a good job blocking those monsters, eh?
Now, remember that burst shot combo with frozen enemies we did earlier? That works with ice walls too. Let's put burst shot back on. Now I can fill up this area with ice walls, then shoot them with armor-piercing burst shot for a huge amount of damage.
Yo, that's not cool. You can shoot through your own wall? Nah, dude.
Alright, it's time to face the boss for this area. Let's see how we fare against her with all the
Augers.
skills I've shown you so far.
Stay still, for mother! No. Your time has come. By the gods!
Take him out, dude. Take him out. Oh. Yo, the boss can walk through the ice wall. That's pretty cool. Oh, gonna die, dude.
What is going on in this godforsaken city?
And that's the Mercenary. It feels totally different than anything we've made before, and shows you the range of what's possible in Path of Exile.
That's
2.
pretty awesome, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm watching in 1080? Oh shit, dude. Oh no.
We're going to be showing
My bad.
Path of Exile 1 expansion coming out next week. I'm going to hand over to Mark, also known as Neon, to show you what's in store for PoE 1.
I'm
Thanks,
so
Jonathan.
immersed into it that I didn't even
Let's just
notice.
go ahead and get straight on into it.
My
Here's the
bad.
trailer for Path of Exile Affliction.
Something moves in the mists.
Ooh, let's go, boys.
Something sinister. Thorn. Rot. Plague. And claw. The affliction
Yo, what the fuck?
spreads. It hungers for more. Tread lightly in the wildwood, which shifts and fights. Accept our help, the ancient power
Whoa.
of the Asmiri.
Dude.
Beware the spirits that yearn for freedom. And the heart of evil that waits in the dark.
What, dude? A new class, yeah. Or rework, yeah. Potentially rework. Dude, ultimatum chat. Let's fucking go, boys. Hell yeah, dude. That's a fucking W right there. I tell you. Oh shit. Oh man. Well, it looks like we're gonna be gaming for sure. That looks really exciting. That's all?
In the
No,
Affliction
not
League,
yet.
you will encounter sacred wisps, which beckon you to enter overgrown passageways that lead to
That was,
the Viridian
that was just a
Wildwood.
teaser.
A vile affliction has covered this forest with a foreboding darkness. You'll need to uncover the forest mysteries to put a stop to the source of the affliction. As you approach the darkness, the wisps burn away its affliction. Make sure you tread carefully, because they only have a
Emphasis?
limited amount of power. But be warned, the darkness is full of cursed monsters that emerge to kill you.
Moving
As you explore,
synthesis.
you might see other types of wisps
Yeah, like
trapped
Nico,
inside the
yeah.
darkness. The Wildwood is trying to
Makes
guide you
sense.
towards clues about its affliction. Follow the trails of wisps by collecting them, and you may uncover many different secrets. New characters to find, shrines, boss battles, and all kinds of new encounters are lurking in the forest just waiting for you to discover them. There are many rewards to earn for those brave enough to seek them.
Alright.
When the sacred wisps
It's kind
run
of
out
like
energy, they'll
Abyss,
return you back to where
except
you
you
came
have to
from.
find it, right?
Any other
That makes
types
sense.
of wisps you have collected will return with you to Rayclast. These wisps, having been saved from the Affliction, disperse into the environment and inhabit randomly chosen monsters in the area,
Okay.
increasing their power and also their rewards.
Ooh, increased
The
reward.
different types of wisps have different effects on monsters, and sometimes more than one type will inhabit a single monster, making the fight even harder and even more rewarding. If this happens to a boss, you could be in for a tough fight, but if you can overcome it, your efforts will not be in vain. Primal Wisps grant an item rarity bonus to inhabited monsters. Wild Wisps grant an item quantity bonus, and Vivid Wisps cause them to drop currency items. If a monster gets all three types, they'll drop more items of a higher rarity and a lot of currency.
Why are
While
they
exploring
putting
the Wild
harvest?
You might find some of the last
stuff
few
in-
Esmeri wanderers
Hello?
who have managed to survive in the forest since it was cursed. Each of them have different survival specializations, and they are willing to teach you if you agree to help them defeat the source of the Affliction, the King in the
Oh.
Mists.
Boss rush, yeah.
Choose which of the Esmeri that you will complete quests for to unlock one of 3 new Ascendancy classes, which you can have in addition to your regular Ascendancy class. Up to 8 points for these classes are unlocked as you complete more quests for the Esmeri you are training under. The Warden of Eves can teach you to become a Warden of the Magi, a powerful class that takes advantage of wilderness knowledge. A Warden of the Magi can learn to use tinctures which coat their weapon, granting various powerful effects. You can equip tinctures in your flask slots and toggle them on and off at will.
Yo.
You can
What?
only have one enabled at a time, but the effects are quite conditional, so you may want to have more than one equipped and swap between them.
That's
during
pretty
combat.
cool. So you have 2 ascendancies, yeah, dude.
For example, equip the Ironwood Tincture to gain the benefit of always stunning enemies on full life. Tinctures can also get random mods. This one in particular adds stacks of wither to targets on full life and steals frenzy charges on hit, which makes it great as an initiator. When you are fighting rare monsters or finishing off tough bosses, you will want to swap to the Oak Branch Tincture, which grants Culling Strike, increased damage against enemies on low life, and has a chance to steal a mod from rare enemies you kill. You can buy more tinctures
that's
from the
okay,
Warden
I
of Eves
guess.
using Primal Wisps when you find her in the forest, so keep an eye out for her.
So that's Primal Wisps.
As a Warden of the Magi gains more Ascendancy points, they gain access to more skills that let them further specialize in tinctures. For example, Nature's Concoction allows you to invest in having your tinctures enhance your flasks. This Ascendancy skill makes it important to think about which slots your tinctures are placed in, and what flasks they are adjacent to. You will have better uptime on those flasks and they'll be stronger as a result. But there are plenty more skills to choose even if you don't want to engage with tinctures. For example, another new ability to unlock is Bark Skin.
Cool, box skin. Easy armor.
It's a reservation skill that causes bark to grow all over your body, increasing armor. As you take damage, the bark falls off, increasing your evasion. Over time, the bark will grow back, removing the evasion bonus.
What is
but
that
increasing your
weapon,
armor again.
dude? Looks sick.
The Breaker of Oaths can teach you to become a Warlock of the Mists, an Ascendancy class specializing in the darker arts of the Esmeri. One powerful ability you can choose is Blood
Work
Hunt,
like an
which
enchantment?
grants
I
an
think it
active
works
skill
like
called
an
Ravenous.
enchantment. I'm not so sure. Seems that
This
way.
skill lets you see what type a monster is under its life bar, whether it is a demon, beast, undead, construct, or humanoid. Consuming a corpse with this skill gives a buff to damage against that type of monster, and reduces damage taken by it. You can only have one type active at a time, so it's a good idea to choose wisely for the area that you are in. Some bosses like the Maven are eldritch in nature and don't conform to the regular corpses that you have access to, but don't worry. The Breaker of Oaths has a shop where you can trade wild wisps for corpses that you can place on the ground wherever you are.
Yo, what the fuck, dude? 3 corpses
Buy
you
an
can
Eldritch
buy.
corpse and you will be able to get the bonus while fighting eldritch entities like the Maven.
That's pretty
You may
sick.
notice that most of the corpses he sells are not monsters you normally encounter.
Yo, new specters.
You might want to try turning some of these corpses into specters.
Oh my
Take
fuck,
advantage
dude.
of some of the unique abilities that these monsters have.
Is this going to be a Spectre League?
The Warlock of the Mists gets access to many other abilities. For example, there is a trio of curses that you can pick from. One of these curses targets your minions, giving them life degen and making them explode for massive damage when they are near death. One of them prevents enemies from dealing damage for the latter portion of its duration, which is quite powerful against bosses. This curse creates the interesting build decision of whether or not you should increase curse duration or
That's
reduce it.
cheating, dude. That's
The
cheating.
final curse is a mark that causes enemy phantasms to be spawned when you hit the marked enemy. These phantasms aren't on your side, so they work well with on-hit and on-kill trigger effects, for example. The Primal Huntress can teach you to become a Wildwood Primalist. Unlike the other new ascendancies, the Primal Huntress lets you customize your tree.
Ooh.
You do this with charms that you can buy from the Primal Huntress for Vivid Wisps. Charms have randomly generated mods, which give stats from regular ascendancy classes.
Oh no, there goes my sound. My
Charms are
bad,
magic
chat.
items that are aligned with different attributes. So for example, this Ursine charm is strength aligned, and has gotten the melee hits have a chance to fortify stat from the champion.
Yeah, that's
and the
pretty
ability
sick.
to stop your movement speed going below base from the Juggernaut. This interline Corvine charm lets you get the stat that makes your consecrated ground effects linger from the Inquisitor, and the effect that makes cursed enemies explode from the Occultist. Some of the combination of mods that you might find for sale on charms can be extremely powerful, so keep a lookout for the Primal Huntress's shop even if you are not playing as a Primalist. As a Primalist,
So can you
also
only
get access
bar
to a
them,
few
they
other
don't
interesting
drop?
abilities. Use Warcries next to corpses and they have a chance to drop an extra item.
What the
It
fuck?
opens nearby chests too.
Bro.
Primalist also gets access to a small extra backpack, just in case you find yourself needing to cart more items to town during your map runs.
Small dude. Hello? An extra back? Nah,
If you
bro.
are unhappy with the class you
A
picked, or you just happen to
Herodric
find a really
cube.
great item for another one of the classes, you are able to change which class you are using next time you find one of the Asmeri Wanderers. Just remember that you will have to do their quests in order to gain the ascendancy points for that class.
Okay, so you have to do the quest.
These quests will lead you towards the ultimate goal of the Asmeri: finding the King in the Mists, defeating him, and cleansing the forest of its affliction once and for all.
Alright.
There are new uniques to find, rewards to claim, and new ascendancy classes to master in the Affliction League.
Pretty
Now
cool
that we've
shit,
covered
man.
what's in the league, let's talk about some of the changes you can expect to the core game in 3.23. For a start, Ultimatum is finally going core. When talking to players at ExileCon, it was the #1 feature that people requested. When playing through in-game maps, you may sometimes encounter the Trial Master, who offers you a choice to undertake a Deadly Val trial in exchange for great rewards. If you defeat the trial, he offers to go double or nothing with you. Do you take the risk and go for an even better reward, or do you take the winnings you have already earned off the table and go home? We've done a full rebalance of Ultimatum and have added many new
Juice
mods
it
and
fucked.
rewards, including both new and reworked uniques.
Yo,
The
dude.
base number of rounds for an Ultimatum
Exiles.
trial is now always 10, with a chance to spawn the Trial Master boss fight on the 10th round, if you are able to make it that far. As part of 3.23, we have also removed Metamorph from the game. All the Catalyst rewards
No
from
more
Metamorph
Metamorph?
have now been moved to be rewards for Ultimatum. We've
Cool.
also added a new Val-themed Catalyst that works on corrupted
Yay,
items.
tainted.
As is normal for most content that gets added to in-game, we have introduced new Ultimatum passive skills to the Atlas tree.
Ooh, damn.
One great example is the Keystone Grueling Gauntlet. It makes ultimatums last 3 extra rounds, but you cannot choose the modifiers, and it prevents the final Trial Master boss fight from spawning. The level of challenge becomes extreme during the last 3 rounds, and not being able to choose the modifiers makes it even harder. But the rewards are insane, and for those with very high-end characters, it might be a bet worth making.
Insane
There are lots of
rewards,
other Atlas passive
apparently.
skills you can pick from for Ultimatum, so choose wisely.
Oh shit, 3 div.
Now, it's time to talk about one of the largest metagame changes we've ever made. There were 3 systems in Path of Exile that were all
Dude,
trying to subtly
yo.
modify the behavior of skills. These were alternate quality gems, Labyrinth Helmet enchants, and unique threshold jewels. We've combined all of these together to create a new system called Transfigured Gems that allows us to fully achieve the goal of these 3 systems and then some. Transfigured Gems are
Transfigured
alternative
Gems.
versions of existing skill gems that have different functionality and balance from their regular versions. We have added a huge number of these with interesting variations that drastically change how existing skills play. For example, Frostbomb of Instability. It changes it from a cooldown skill that you can cast occasionally for a large explosion into a skill that you can cast continuously, but deals less damage and doesn't apply cold exposure. It changes the role of Frostbomb from a utility skill into a main damaging skill.
That's pretty crazy.
Another example is Detonate Dead or Scavenge.
DD.
You can't use it on corpses that were created by Desecrate or Unearth, but in exchange it does a whole lot more damage. You won't be able to use it as your main reliable source of damage, but it's a great skill to use as a falling
Yeah, it's
utility
massive
to get some
changes,
extreme
man.
burst damage.
It's insane.
Raise zombie or falling. Instead of
Yo,
raising a
what?
zombie from a corpse, you summon them from midair. They fall to their
From
death,
midair.
dealing AoE damage.
What
when
the
they land.
fuck? Falling
While this sounds like a
zombies.
physical damage version of Firestorm, you should consider that it scales with minion damage and also triggers on-death minion effects.
Holy
Blight
shit,
of
that's
Contagion.
crazy.
This
What?
version of Blight is now spread by Contagion, so you can use it as part of your Essence Drain build. We have a huge number of these. Transfigure Firestorm into Firestorm with Meteors, Transfigure Blade Trap into Blade Trap of Greatswords, Transfigure Barrage into Barrage of Volley Fire, and so on. There is a lot to experiment with, and we look forward to seeing what builds you can come up with. But how do you get Transfigured gems? The Divine Font at the end of the Eternal Labyrinth has been changed to a gem crafting
insane.
device that can modify your skill and support gems in a lot of new ways. One of the options you can now choose is to turn a skill gem into one of 3 transfigured gems. But that isn't all the Divine Font can do. It has a lot of other gem crafting options you can use.
What,
For example, you
dude?
can add quality to gems,
Yeah,
add
Ward
experience to
Luthor's
gems,
falling zombies,
sacrifice
yeah.
a gem for 1 or more treasure keys to open Azaro's chests, and you can even exchange support gems for
This is
exceptional support
insane.
gems like
What?
Empower or Enlighten. These are just some of the options you'll find the Divine Font is now capable of. In order to
Whoa.
replace the rewards in Heist that previously gave alternate quality gems, we have done a rebalance of the rewards of Heist as well. Experimented base types have been rebalanced, new replica uniques have been added and old ones changed, and we have increased the amount of currency from display cases as well.
Yeah,
On
what
top of
the
this,
fuck?
we have gone through and buffed the quality stats on most damage dealing skills. In most cases, they will be significantly more powerful
Tornado
than before,
shot,
and also
dude.
more interesting. Overall, this is one of the largest metagame shifts that we've ever done. There are so many crazy new skill combinations to plan around, so we expect to see some really interesting new builds. Next up, I'd like to hand back over to Chris to talk about the new support.
This is
effects.
insane, chat. Like, this is
At this
absolutely
point, we usually
insane.
talk about the League supporter packs. We're doing things a bit differently this year. Rather than releasing League supporter packs today and then our annual core packs 2 weeks later, we've combined it all together into a strong set of core supporter packs that will be released alongside Path of Exile Affliction next week. The series contains 5 packs, each with its
No,
four
what
highly
the
points
fuck
and a
was
collection
that?
of exclusive cosmetic microtransactions. The higher packs contain physical merchandise. We'll unveil the full details of each of the packs at release next week, but in the meantime, here's
That's
a
a
sneak
pretty
peek
cool
of
map
some
to
of their
boss.
exclusive cosmetic microtransactions. These packs will be
But
available.
I played the
for purchase
Total
from
League.
Path of
I
Exile
did
Affliction
for
launches on the
like
8th of
3
December.
weeks-ish.
Thank you so much
Almost
for
a
your
month,
ongoing support.
I guess you can say. I didn't really enjoy it myself. Yo, that's pretty cool.
We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards, we'll post Path of Exile Affliction's full patch notes. With the release at the end of next week, our
Looks like you're gonna
community
play the
team will
entire
post some
league, dude.
crucial
I'm
information ready for
definitely gonna
Affliction's
play
release.
the
Keep an eye on
shit
the
out of
news.
this league.
On release weekend, we expect to launch the new mystery box and this season's Kyrix Vault Pass. Thanks for joining us today and checking out our latest developments. We're looking forward to exploring the Viridian Wildwood.
Oh, you want to try so many builds?
We'll begin the
Same.
Q&A shortly, so please get your questions ready.
Even me, man. Oh. The possibilities are endless. Honestly, dude. Log in, hell yeah. What's up, Afro? Literally, log in, dude. That is crazy cool. Oh, man. Tornado shot additional arrow based here. Dude, that additional arrow is sick. And then the like alternate quality on gems. I mean, whoa, man. Come on, dude. And the fact that you can get like new specters as well. Holy shit.
G'day, Ziggy D here, folks. Exiles, welcome for a giant jam-packed Q&A after a huge reveal session. We have here today Chris, Jonathan, and Mark. 3 for the price of 1 this time around, not just
I know.
Chris.
Is
Welcome,
Ziggy
folks.
sick again, dude?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Cheers. Excellent, folks. We're going to be moving through things in rough order that we saw things today during the reveal. So starting with Path of Exile 2 and then moving through some of the new Path of Exile 1 features. So get those questions in through Twitch chat and we'll sprinkle those in through each of those various sections. So first, let's talk about that new movement scheme that was revealed with
I'd
the,
respect it
with
looks
the new
insane one day
mercenary
if you can
class.
have more than one. I'm pretty
So
sure
we
that
have
you
the new
can, dude.
WASD movement.
Imagine a whole
And does
bunch
this
of
ultimate
them
control
shooting these
scheme
massive like
work with other
projectiles.
classes
Yo.
and builds, or is it mainly intended for like this shooter mercenary style?
So when we put it in, I was totally.
How do I know that
thinking
he's
it was
sick?
gonna be something we were gonna use with
Because
main
of
characters
how
way more.
his
But actually,
speech is like muzzled.
When I tried out some melee stuff, I was pretty sold.
So
on it,
you can
actually. It
say
was
that his
better than I was
nose is
expecting.
blocked.
There's
And I
still a
know
few
this
tweaks
because
to do to
I've
make that
watched
perfect,
Ziggy a
internally,
lot.
But like, yeah, it's pretty awesome. So I think I'm probably.
I love
think I'm
Ziggy.
gonna
He's
be playing that
awesome.
way myself, actually. Even though I was a bit of a skeptic at first of WASD for melee, I think it is good. But we wanna make sure
WASD
that
is good
everyone
for
understands
melee,
that
yeah.
You can change from one to the other whenever you want. It's just one of those things that like some people may prefer it, some people may not. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. WASD rather.
WESD,
pretty good to me.
what?
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised, to be honest. Like, I've, die-hard action RPG, Diablo 2 era kind of guy myself. But for some reason, the WASD stuff just feels really natural to play. I guess it's, background in Crimson Land and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That first moment you use it, it's a little bit jarring because W is now not a skill. But once you can get beyond that, it is like very, very fun to play.
It is actually funny going I went loaded up the PoE1 client again recently, and like I was immediately pressing WASD, like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I also keep trying to dodge roll as well.
Yeah, so yeah.
I had that same problem. I was going to add.
So many innovations.
Can
You're gonna have
WASD
to
movement
put
be added to Path of
your
Exile 1, or is it
relationship on hold
exclusively
for a
PoE
month
2
straight.
feature?
Yeah, dude.
It's
Even me,
probably gonna be
man.
pretty hard to add it to PoE1, and the reason would be
Gonna have
is
to
the
drop
number of animations
everything
you need
for
to
sure.
support, like arbitrary directional movement like that is really high, and the rigs in PoE1 are so old that it would be really, really difficult to add. So I think it's probably like quite.
I legit
unlikely.
can't believe
And
that
just in
there's so
general, the
much
animation stuff they were doing in PoE2,
different
like, it's just
changes in
different
there.
level. So it was like
I didn't
I'm
expect
not
this
gonna
at
say
all.
easy, but it was easier to add it in PoE2 than it would have been in PoE1 by far. So yeah, for now I'd say it's going to be PoE2 only.
How have you found hotkey usage and things like that while moving around with WSD movement?
So basically, one thing it does do is so it's definitely a thing. But what personally what I found is that so you've effectively got the left click freed up. To
Probably know what they're gonna
put a
do.
skill on. So you've kind of got,
3.24.
some-
Oh
you
yeah,
have like sort
without
of three
a
major skills on mouse.
without a
And
doubt
then,
they do.
having other stuff on the keyboard, and it works pretty well for me because the stuff that I put on the keyboard at least tends to be the sort of more rarely used stuff. They're still like commonly used, but still a bit rarer. And so it wasn't too bad. I found it okay. It is a concern for sure. Like I suspect that there might be a few builds that would be a bit harder to do that way, but you can always use the other control scheme if you want. But it's working really well for what we were doing there.
And how well does this translate to controllers then? You would think it'd be perfect for twin sticks.
It is. So we have also implemented so that the right stick you can use to aim which direction that you're going in on controller, and it does work well there. There's like a bunch of other controller stuff that we've kind of been fiddling around with trying to get that
That's
better.
generic controller movement though.
It definitely does help in that direction as well. Plus, it just kind of makes movement. Like there's actually stuff even with click to move that we can use. Like we can utilize the fact that we've got the ability for the character to face a different way than they're walking. That actually makes there's some cases where we can make the click to move stuff look more natural as well. It's kind of minor stuff, but the animation does look actually better for click to move too due to that.
And what sort of skills can you use while moving? That was mentioned that some will be kind of like functional in that way.
Yeah, so we're still going through and thinking exactly what we want to do there. But the basic thing is that you definitely want to have, I think, for each build, a few skills that you can use in that way, because it does make combat feel faster when you can kind of be doing stuff on the way to the next monster, this kind of thing. It just kind of improves it in a way that once we tried it, we were just like, wow, that's actually really cool. It won't be like everything, or like a lot of the time, I think what we're doing is getting the we can shorten the windows because we've got this ability now. We can kind of shorten the windows where you're not allowed to move, where there's movement locked out in skills as well. So only right near the contact point do you actually have to stop. And then for other skills, we can do them completely while you're moving. So some of the skills that you might want to spam in some cases, things like that, it can be okay. So I'm not going to give you a list or anything, but yeah, we definitely want to have making sure that each build has skills that you can do while moving available, so that you can kind of utilize the time when moving between packs to be able.
skills that incorporate more movement or even play with the lack of
should be
movement, like
music
planting your feet.
What
Was that sorry?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I think Discord kind of lagged out for a second there.
Oh, okay. But yeah, the other thing as well is that is another question people have asked is like how does it work when you are using click to move? And the answer is honestly pretty simple. Like you click where you want to move, and then you move the mouse and use the skill in the other direction, and then your character will just not be interrupted the move. They'll just keep moving while you shoot in the other direction. That does work. Like it is technically like it takes a bit more mouse movement to be able to do it if you want to move while you're doing it, but it does work. So there's no technical disadvantage there other than just effectively what you're doing is it's like what the same exact motion you do if you're stutter stepping, except that you're able to actually move at the same time while you're doing it basically.
Yeah, you effectively like queue up a move command and then fire in the opposite direction or something.
Exactly, yeah.
Do you find that this is what's that?
I was saying it's like lower APM stutter stepping.
Yeah.
Do you find that this is like opening up a lot new design space for you with skills then? Because this is like a new way of thinking that you haven't really had access to in terms of skill design now.
For sure. There's definitely a lot of stuff. Like we haven't even really yet explored all the repercussions on other builds as much as we would like to yet. Like there's a lot of stuff to change here and kind of get and utilize that stuff for. But yeah, as I said, once we tried it, it's just like, yeah, we need to be exploring this all throughout what we're doing and making sure that we can take advantage of it so it feels as natural as possible when you've got like direct character control like that.
What we're finding here is the overarching goal with the new characters in Path of Exile 2 is that each one plays entirely differently. We're releasing 12 games in one, where you can play an entirely different style with each character and feel compelled. Now that you've tried a mercenary, you want to try another one, for example, because you're going to get a different experience. And this means that Jonathan's team is pioneering these new things like the WSD controls, using a class as an example. Like the mercenary is the canonical WSD control one because of the crossbow stuff feeling like a gun. And then the fallout from that, of course, is then it benefits all the other 11 classes and millions of different playstyles, and that kind of falls through afterwards, and we get time to experiment with how it actually works on those classes.
Yeah. At the risk of going like off topic a little bit, I already noticed in previous reveals that like the melee stuff is getting a lot more fluid with a lot more movement and stuff like that. But a lot of that was a kind of pre-scripted but modifiable movement after the fact, where you could like whirl and then change direction a little bit like that. But it seems like now even you might even be able to have things like where your character's able to do a cleave while taking a couple extra steps, just little things like that. So it seems like it's going to change gameplay a lot from Path of Exile 1 to 2.
I think it can, but we do have to be careful. Like, I don't want the feeling of just complete floatiness. Like we don't want, like I wouldn't want it so that every skill you can just do without like while moving arbitrarily. Like it needs to still feel like there's at least some amount of the animation where you're kind of like locked into that little bit. So for something like cleave, for example, what I do is you can kind of step into it and then you can move really quickly after the slash. But the actual slash itself, you need a bit of that sort of like locked in, just so that you got something going on there, because otherwise it'll just feel like you kind of don't really exist. You're just like floating around, kind of not really doing anything. So
animation lock is good, but only for a little bit amounts.
Kind of feeling where where you don't feel like you're a real character in the world.
A small window,
if you just allow full unrestricted, like if you do absolutely everything while moving and there was no slowdowns or anything, then it would feel real floaty, and I don't like that either. So it can be a little bit of an interesting one. You have to really look at the feel of every single skill and kind of get the timing windows exactly right.
Either feel bad or to feel
really solid and good.
Really,
but if we're doing our job right, then every class should have quite a distinct feel as far as all that stuff goes.
Like I get what you mean. Like once you have more movement, that's when you can start playing with like, okay, in what situations do we stop movement? Like I noticed with the crossbow, for example, the character planted their feet for the shotgun shots especially, and that made that look and feel a lot more impactful. So that thing's by design there.
Orange juice chat.
Perfect. On that note, then let's talk a bit about the crossbows. It seems they've changed quite a bit since the original reveal with the armor-piercing bolts and whatnot.
Yep, they have. Yep, that was that meme. It's no longer applicable, hopefully. But absolutely. I mean, so the split to all of the classes happened after that last the last reveal, and so then we were kind of like, we need to make sure that we're making I didn't. Even like there were like the mechanical ideas of like having ammos and stuff like that for the crossbows before, but I don't think we'd quite yet nailed the kind of like how is a crossbow actually going to feel really different to play than a bow. And it wasn't until I sort of made the observation that, hey, like if we're like a crossbow, like if you pull the trigger on a crossbow, it needs to fire instantly. We should be putting the contact point literally at 0 on the animation. So this is a bit of a technical term. Like contact point just means point where the damage happens, etc., etc. We need to move that right to the start. And if we do that, like, what kind of things would need to change? And we actually found there was like a grab bag. Like, as soon as we did that, there's like a grab bag of issues that we off topic, but it's like the amount of engine brokenness that the mercenary brought to the front was so high. Like, the amount of things like that we had to fix in order to make the mercenary work in the engine was just ridiculous. Like, I found so many bugs. I mean, these are all going to be fixed, by the way, in PoE 1 as well, because the engine is shared. But it's like, I found out that projectiles like disappear a frame before they arrive at the destination, and they appear 1 frame late after they leave your character as well. And that it turns out all objects when they're created appear 33 milliseconds late from when they actually render.
Oh no,
and,
that's
like,
bad.
There was stuff with trail. I mean, like, it was just actually like, because like when you're dealing with something like this, like if you've got like a bullet effectively traveling ultra fast, it has to happen instantly as soon as you click, and like all these things, there was like so many engine things where it's like we're speeding all this shit up, and like the engines just started breaking all over the place. So yeah, there was a lot of technical improvements that had to happen in order to make that stuff work. Not to even mention the whole like WSD and all the animation system stuff, and yeah, like it was pretty crazy. So I'm really glad to remove a lot of jank that existed that we hadn't noticed before, because things weren't fast enough to see the problems. And there was a lot of like frame by framing it and like making sure that every single frame is perfect and all that sort of stuff going on. And yeah, it was pretty crazy during the development of this stuff.
I love how that pans out in terms of improvements.
Sure.
So on the crossbows, I noticed that they have the new like skill bound to the weapon thing where they fire differently. So you have your shotgun crossbow and you have your semi-automatic crossbow or whatever. Mm-hmm. Are we mostly going to be modifying those primary skills, or are there going to be other primary separate skills or just kind of more ammo types that modify the base skills?
So there's definitely going to be more ammo types. There will be other skills, but what we did to sort of solve, as it were, the crossbow, like having crossbow skills that aren't tied to the primary firing type, was to have the attachments. And so those basically are effectively skill gems, except that you equip them where you'd equip a quiver instead. But they have support gems and everything like that. And effectively, whenever we want to have a crossbow skill, as it were, that isn't related to one of those primary firing types, then that'll be where that can go. And so there's way more than what we even showed there. Like, we just showed like some grenades, but there's all sorts of other quirky types that have been come up with that you can attach to your crossbow. Like, I know someone made like a bayonet at one point. I'm not sure how we're going to use that.
What?
I don't know if that one will actually be useful.
That would be pretty cool.
We've got a model for it. We'll see if we'll experiment with it. But there's those. But I mean, there's also other things, of course. Like, there's stuff that we didn't show here. Like, there's still the what do you call them? The crossbows that pop up when you summon ballista totems. There's still ballista totems and other things like that, and like various other skills. So there's definitely other skills that we expect this class to use, but we kind of ran out of like time to be able to show like all the different things that you can do, and we'll show more of those later. But yeah, there's going to be other stuff that you can fill your skill slots with for sure as well. So don't worry about that.
So are some bow skills going to become crossbow skills? Is there going to be shared across the two?
There are certainly some concepts that we might. I mean, look, when we're designing the classes, we're kind of like, we do look at PoE 1 and be like, is there anything here that we want to crib from, to kind of to use? And there might have been a couple of things that we've like sort of used as concepts, but overall, it is supposed to feel like this is distinct. And I'm sure maybe there'll be a time where like this is better suited as a crossbow skill than a bow skill. But in general, I guess like, we're looking at designing things like this is a full new game. Like, we're designing skills again. Like, there will be cases where we go back and we're like, hey, this PoE 1 skill is still great. Let's put it over. But in almost all cases, the skills get changed a lot. Like, I mean, when you saw the sorceress, when we announced all the stuff there, it's like, yeah, there were skills from PoE 1, but like the changes to them were such that like they don't really feel the same at all. So they kind of end up quite different.
Yeah, I feel like I remember seeing like a melee skill became a spell or something like that. Sure, some pretty big changes.
Weird stuff can happen, yeah.
Yeah. So are the crossbows exclusive to the mercenary, or are they something anyone can use?
I mean, just like anything in PoE, everyone can always use everything. I mean, we obviously, when we're showing stuff, we sort of show it as if like, this is a thing restricted to this class, but it isn't, of course. Yeah. Like, you can use it anywhere. And one thing we definitely try to do is make sure that there are keywords that are usable between the classes to make sure, like, even if we don't know exactly how that'll be useful, like that they can lead to things that can be interesting. So, for example, on the crossbow there, we had armor break being used, which is the same mechanic we were using on the warrior. And I mean, look, maybe in theory someone could make a crossbow / mace build I don't know how that would work, but what I'm saying is like by having the shared keywords across different classes, it just means that if someone wants to come up with something weird, they can do that. So yeah, absolutely, you can use stuff across.
I'm
classes.
definitely going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to do armor piercing bolt, crossbow, and then always crit. It's going to happen.
Rip.
Yeah, I mean that's probably pretty broken actually as
Yes,
the ballot
it
stands
is.
right now. I bet it's actually like real
Yes,
broken.
it is right now.
Yeah.
With it seems like Discord died for the stream a little bit there. Sorry, Jonathan, what did you say you Mark, what did you say you were going to do?
Oh, it's using armor piercing bolts to get armor break from a distance, and then using sunder which is a skill we showed on the warrior, because sunder gets always crit and higher crit damage
if the target's armor
if the target's armor broken. So when we showed the warrior, you have to use armor break, which is I guess kind of heavy strike-esque, right in the face to break the armor. But now I'll just do it from a distance and then sunder from a distance, and
right. So yeah, there's a potential build there. For sure.
We've got the weapon swapping and the tree swapping and stuff. I hope we see
it
some
works.
hybrid melee ranged. It's a great playstyle.
It can happen.
Especially for the mercenary, I feel it'd be a great fit. But moving on a little bit, we've got the oil grenade, and that effectively showed some environmental interactions, lighting a patch of oil on the ground on fire. Is that something you might expand to with other skills, enemy abilities,
Oh no, rip my connection.
or even like combat areas? Like
there we go.
there's an oil barrel, you can light that on fire or something.
Yeah, I mean, we absolutely love that stuff, like the environmental stuff. But I mean, even with the other skills we're designing, like, I mean, things like the volcano interaction with the druid, that's another example of that kind of like place a thing in the world and then you can do something with it. I quite like that stuff. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, I absolutely want to be doing more of that. I mean, and the more I guess state you can add to get a bit technical about it, to the world, where it's like, placing a thing, like, all that stuff allows you to do more setting up for something you're going to do afterwards, which I think is a big part of being able to do combos and things like that. So yeah, like I'm a big fan of that kind of stuff.
We do have monsters integrating with that as well. Like we have, to give a couple examples, we have explosive barrels with lines of gunpowder, and the lines are randomly generated, and then you have monsters with torches that will run up and set them on fire.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And we've got another one as well that throws
Make the
more of
monsters
an
blow
alchemist
themselves
monster,
up.
and it throws two types of I guess flasks or concoctions, and one creates ground type A and one creates ground type B, and if they mix, they end up creating a new type of ground type and exploding and doing massive AoE damage, like just chemical reactions.
Yeah.
Just coming up with a whole alchemy system for your
Yeah,
environmental interactions.
It's got. We tried it in Heist. Surprise! I don't know if anyone even PoE1 notices this, but there is oil there that does catch on fire. It just doesn't look anywhere near as good. Just because like where the art is and where the effects is now for PoE2 is just allowing things to look.
It's just outdated, yeah.
Similarly, we're seeing like more and more powerful control and utility effects. Like for example, in this clip, we saw the shots placing ice walls and.
No, why is this happening? Sedge.
They were like blocking and taunting enemies, I noticed, it seemed. How do you keep these sorts of effects like feeling powerful and relevant in boss fights without just kind of breaking the fight or trivializing them?
I mean, on some level, like we have to be able to let players use those tools in boss fights because otherwise there's no point in them. Like I really want it to be the kind of game where you can use that kind of more control type stuff. And I mean, like it's funny because a lot of the designers, when we talk to them, we're like, "Hey, we should allow this," and they're like, "Oh my god, it's crazy because like it's going to be way too easy." Like, and then Mark will look at him and he goes, "It's not that broken. It's not that broken." It's like you look at some of the stuff you can do in PoE1, and I'm like, the ability to like freeze people in place with walls is like nothing compared to like the ridiculousness that your character can get to. So yeah, like when you actually think about it, like it's not that broken really. I mean, and we want players to have fun at the end of the day, right? We want them to be able to use those tools, and I quite enjoy it. But in particular, though, with the ice, though, those walls, once a monster gets above a certain size, they no longer get blocked by them, and they run through them. They still get they explode. So Ursia, you might have noticed, like the baby wasn't able to get through the walls, but Ursia can run through them, and then they just get that little detonation. So the skill actually changes a bit. Like against small monsters, they have to like stop and attack. It completely blocks them in, and they can't get through. But against large monsters, the monster rolls right through it, but then they explode and get chilled. So it kind of changes the function a little bit for boss versus the small monsters, and so that's why that particular skill I think is actually fine in that regard. So yeah, there's little tricks like that we can do, and I think I honestly really enjoy the stuff we're doing with monster size, which was never a factor in PoE 1 design. Like monster size means that we can say, okay, like bigger, like, this happens to large monsters. I mean, it all makes some kind of physical sense on some level. Bigger monsters can have this happen, smaller monsters have that happen, and that can kind of allow you a bit more control in that way as well.
Just gives variety.
Does this give you, Mark, some interesting tools to play with when designing bosses?
Yeah, I mean, generally, yes. I've had rants about this before. I love the I love the object size. I like things pushing you around, and I like the small monster can't and a large monster can, and like things like the knockback and just the thing feeling very physical and as it would, I guess, in real life is quite important to me, and it makes the game feel just way more grounded. Like you're actually in there and it makes sense, as opposed to, I mean, that's something about the mercenary as well. I know this is tangential, but I'll just get into it. Like when, I don't know if people notice, but when you fire at a monster on the ground, like that area had babies in it, the crossbow aims down and shoots down.
Yes,
like
that was a change that was also absolutely needed.
Whereas in PoE 1 and like if there's a little like the little insects, for example, down there, you'll fire your bow and the arrow will just go this and hit it, and it's like it doesn't feel right. Now you may wonder, okay, well, how can it pierce if it aims down? And the answer is it can't. But
I mean, it does a bit because like you still get
sure. It goes through and then hits the ground, but like it does change the gameplay in an interesting way. But it also makes it feel way more realistic, and you're not just like shooting the air.
Yeah. One thing you didn't see in the demo, but actually like now the collision geometry for everything is actually modeled correctly to to everything, even the stuff outside the gameplay space. So you can fire a grenade out over the buildings and like it'll hit the roofs and like bounce down on the roofs and like go down to the lower story and that sort of stuff. Like it actually has like all of that physics all working and everything.
Even those problems in PoE 1 with like leap slam, where you leap slam off like over a ravine, your character will go down, up, down. No more of that. No more.
Yeah, so like we've got lots of like there's a lot of physical stuff. In fact, like and also just things like arrows hitting like empty space and like stuff like that. Like now they all exactly hit the geometry and like there's lots of I mean, once again, it comes back to all the engine stuff we had to fix in order to make the mercenary possible. Like, it was just like, we were like, okay, we can no longer tolerate all of this, like, not physical stuff anymore. We have to actually make it right. So yeah, there was a big lot of changes required. And it makes just everything feel a lot more realistic and kind of grounded, which is good.
One of the reasons why the groundedness matters here is because one of the factors that varies from fight to fight is the terrain you're fighting in. And so if you can interact with the shape of that terrain in a different way and it actually has an impact, it will make the fights feel different.
I like how it affects the monsters too, because instead of just shooting at a
no, don't do this to me, man.
Wall when you're up on an elevation, they'll actually like pathfind backwards to try and get a line of sight to you with their projectile.
Yeah.
Which is
because they take into account height in the pathfinding now, so they actually have to find like a line of sight to you, up a cliff and this kind of thing. There's some pretty interesting things.
Wow, very cool. So for demonstrations and things like demos and stuff, you're obviously going to be showing off as many different abilities and combos and stuff like that as possible, like more than you typically have on an actual character. But I'm curious then, kind of what are your expectations or hopes for PoE 2 in terms of how many skills and combos a well-refined character build is going to be running at endgame?
I mean, I personally believe that you should have probably 2 to 3. 2 is going to be very common. I think 3 will be pretty common as well in terms of like core combos for your character. And then depending on the context, like what's going on with the boss fight or just the monsters, you'll decide to do one or the other. But what I quite like about the way the game plays and what we try to strive for is like you've got some plan in mind for what you're doing, but like no plan survives contact with the enemy kind of thing, and like the enemies are doing things that's kind of disrupting that, and then you're like, oh, I should need to use the skill to kind of like deal with that. And so that a lot of the time you can have like I think you saw this on the druid as well. It's like the druid basically had synergy for the entire set of skills that it had. But in reality, when you're playing, it's like you can't kind of get off the full combo all the time. You need to kind of like, sometimes you can, and then you get a huge amount of damage. But the rest of the time, you're kind of using individual subparts of the combo that like, because multiple parts of it still work together. And so you can still sort of have utilizing different parts of it is still useful in different situations. But then you can kind of use everything together in one go in the end and kind of get something really awesome. Different characters will feel a bit different in this regard. But I really do want like some like interesting combos going on, and it should be very context sensitive, right? Like what the enemies are doing should matter in what you are doing. Like that is, I guess, the sort of key element of that. And in order to achieve that, you're going to want to have like a few different options on your character to take care of different situations.
Before we move on to Path of Exile 1 and Affliction questions, we have just a couple more chat questions to ask.
No, stop
do
with
you need to spend
period
all the
2.
crossbow
Stop.
ammo to reload,
Stop.
or can you reload
Stop.
manually as well? Is there like a hotkey or something for that?
Yeah, you can reload manually. So effectively, if you use the ammo skill again, it'll reload the thing. So yeah, there is a reload.
Great. Will Path of Exile 2 be cross-platform at all?
Yes, it will be. Absolutely.
Oh,
Cross-platform.
Will boss and monster balancing be done around WASD movement balancing, or will be keeping mouse movement players in mind as well?
I mean, we're always going to make sure that it's okay for both type of players, but I wouldn't say that the balancing has to be hugely different, honestly. Like, especially with the dodge roll and everything, you can get where you need to go with click to move as well. It's just that the immediacy of WASD just sort of feels better, or you know, like I think that I don't think there's necessarily a huge balancing task there, but maybe Mark, you've got a different feeling.
No, it's ultimately the same.
Yeah.
But there's some tiny things like to give a real picky example, it's like when you click to move, you pathfind, right? And with WASD, it
is technically pathfinding a little bit, but
a bit less. And so like you're more likely to run into a where if you were to click around something, your character would path around it. But if there was like a point, your character might run into that and get stuck because you actually have to navigate around yourself.
It does pathfind on WASD, though.
Yes, yeah. But there's a couple cases like that, but that's not really balance. It's more like we have to. I mean, yeah, you're running into a dead end.
I would say though that, like, for example, the bag. I don't know what the name of the monster we eventually went with, but the bag ladies. I don't know, in that area, I did find them a bit easier to dodge with WSD because you can like take a step back really easily when you're fighting them. When they get up close. The things like that like are a little bit easier, whereas with click to move, like you're less inclined to because you'd have to move the mouse to the other side of the character to kind of be able to do that, or else dodge roll, which takes a bit longer. So there are like a few cases there where it's like you get a bit more control there, but you know it's fine.
Yeah, ultimately, there's not a lot you need to change balance wise.
Right.
Well, pretty much nothing.
So will we be seeing a bit more from PoE 2 between now and the beta then?
Of course, you know, well, I mean, at the very least, there'll be, you know, the next league live stream and everything. We'll definitely want to have some stuff to show then. But as we get towards the beta, we're going to be showing a heck of a lot more. And I also want to make sure that we get I want to do a deep dive like this for every character class, so that we can sort of see what to expect. And I think there are also good references for the type of gameplay that a player in terms of when you're picking a class, like what class do I want to pick? Being able to see what type of gameplay you can expect is I think a good thing. So I want to have one of those for all the classes if we can. Yeah.
Great, and you have a lot of classes now, the deep dive, so that's a lot of content.
We do.
Great. All right, so moving on to Path of Exile 1 and Affliction first.
Yay!
So Affliction looks like you're kind of walking through a carpet of cockroaches with a candle to scare them off. Do you guys ever worry when you design a league mechanic like this that you're going to be just scaring some players off? They're just going to nope out because of that?
No. It is a horror game, and there's a lot of horror in there already. We've had a few examples, though, like just to give a small anecdote of... There was, I think it was the last, or maybe the current, the mystery box that has the spider portal in it.
Mm-hmm.
We actually had people specifically go, I don't want to buy this mystery box because I have arachnophobia and I don't want to get that spider. The way I can get everything but the spider from it. And the short answer is no. But how does that person kill Weaver or get through?
Yeah.
I don't know. But no, generally, the game has a lot of horrific stuff in it, and as you can even see from what's going on in that mercenary demo, we're not pulling our punches when it comes to that stuff for sure.
I remember Eric came across a list of things not to include in games because they scare the players. Things like objects that are too sharp and pointy, or trypophobia triggering clusters of small irregular holes. And he's like, "This is very useful."
Design Bible.
Add these.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. So, talking about mechanics, the wisps that allow you to explore the wildwood are somewhat of a limited resource, it seems. Is this a timer, or is it a distance traveled, some kind of mechanic like that?
It's distance traveled, but it's distance traveled into the bugs and the cockroaches and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's how much of that you can purge away. So if you run back on a path you've already been, let's say you run up some way and then you want to go back and then go a different direction, running back where you've been doesn't use the resource, but running anywhere new does.
So it's the same as creating your own synthesis.
Yeah. For sure.
top shit with like.
So how long is the
this.
venture into the Wildwood typically? Like how long
It's
are
really
you, like,
cool, man.
exiting your map?
Hey, meow.
Well, even typical is somehow subjective here, but obviously it depends on your character. But I mean, anywhere. I would expect most people to be in there like kind of a minute, upwards of 2 minutes. But
It sort of depends on what you run into though, because if you run into a boss fight, it can it can be a while.
It does depend what you find, but like I mean, you could be in there as short as 30 seconds, or or a lot less if you're just not really caring where you're going. But that is not the right tactic to have at all.
And there isn't time pressure here in any way. You can be in there for a quarter of an hour if you're just incredibly methodical and barely move.
I don't think that anyone would be doing that, but yeah.
You can.
We are catering to slower players who don't like the gotta go fast thing. Like, you can go fast. It's more efficient to go fast, but you don't have to.
I wanted, I wanted something that was normalized a bit more between faster and slower players. Like you can do it at your own pace, as opposed to feeling like ultra stressed. And a faster player can do it as fast as they want, and that's still fine.
Excellent. So you get these wisps, and you free them. They go into your map, and they infect monsters, and you make them drop more loot. Are they like more likely to choose more powerful enemies like rares and bosses, or is it just fully random?
They are more likely to pick, bosses and rares or higher rarity monsters going down. Yes.
And otherwise there would have been like no chance for multiple wisp types to go into one monster, right? So we had to make it so that it was relatively likely for that to occur, but it doesn't always happen. It's kind of it's variable.
As a typical Path of Exile player, I immediately thought of abuse cases for this. Can you like kill all the monsters in a map except the boss, and then just go in and come out, and then free the wisp into the boss only, stacking it up?
Thankfully, as we're also PoE players, we have also thought of this. I don't think of everything, but at least in that case, no, it is a chance per monster. So if you clear the whole map and then go and do it, the resultant is, it's actually detrimental for you.
Yeah. And the Wildwood always appears at the start of the map. So that means that you always like have the chance, like that way you get the most, just to make sure that you get the most, equity of drop equity or whatever out of doing it. So
a little like Delirium where the mirror would spawn.
Exactly, it is exactly like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Wow, you guys have thought of it.
We've done this for a while now.
Some experience.
Yeah.
So some players love mechanics in maps, and others seem to love ones that cause them to take a break from a map. There's definitely some divide there. Interestingly, I noticed that Affliction is a little bit of both. It's a portal, but it juices your map afterwards. How do you folks like to balance the desires of the player base when it comes to designing leagues like this?
Ultimately, we just like to do a bit of all of it. Sometimes it's out of map, sometimes it's in map, sometimes in this case it's a bit of both. Like there isn't really some, elaborate decision that goes into it. It's just kind of like we feel like it's time for one or the other.
I mean, we definitely have discussions of like, we've done a couple of in area ones, let's do an out of area one. Oh, we've done some out of area ones, let's do an in area one. Like, in this case, we were like, it just sort of felt good to have both things. It was good. But honestly, we tried to just have a variety.
So it's kind of concept, at least, that I use internally, which is what shape is the combat, and we want to try all the different shapes we can do, and we haven't run out of shapes yet.
This shape technically is whatever shape you want to, because you can run. So it's an undefined shape.
All right.
I have to always look out for my co-op buddies. How does Affliction work in multiplayer?
So once you die, you can't go back in. Just worth noting. Technically, that's multiplayer or single player, but only the map owner can, or if they're not present, I believe it nominates someone else, but I'll make sure that's the case if not, can actually reveal fog or the mist, whatever, the bugs. And when you collect, so the expectation is the party members kind of follow them around. And the wisps that you collect, it's the same amount. So they're just a shared pool. Like
any player who collects wisps will go to the primary player. So like they're all so there's effectively the map owner is the one in charge of of exploring basically. Yeah.
But anyone can pick them up if you want to spread out a little bit like that. So it works in multiplayer. Due to the nature of the rewards, just being based on the monster's drops, they will scale with like party drops like normal. So there's no they just work as standard multiplayer drops would work.
Right.
Great. And we get this new ascendancy system as a reward for this, which seems quite significant, especially seeing some of the specific bonuses there. How challenging is it to actually unlock these Wildwood ascendancies and gain all of their points?
So you can get 8 points per class. You get your first 2 points when you meet the NPCs, which occurs relatively early. I think we have and it is slightly RNG based, and whether or not you find them. But you can increase the chance of finding them by following the trails of wisps. They will lead to them.
So the different colors have different things at the end of the trails, so you can kind of pick which direction you want to go.
And each color associates to an NPC. So I think they can start appearing around Act 2, and then the expectation is by end of Act 5, you've probably found each of them once. When you meet them, you get your first 2 points, and then they'll give you a quest if you spec into that class to find more wisps or kill some monsters, like real basic quests, all done within the forest. And then you get your 4th point, or 3rd and 4th points, and then you have a quest to kill like a mini boss, and then it'll give you your 5th and 6th, and then the final 2 points are from killing the final boss of the league, which is probably relatively difficult. Like that's a level 83 kind of, maybe equivalent to say like Lycia from Sanctum, or
equivalent to Lycia.
Not quite pinnacle boss, but like just below it kind of thing. So that will be hard.
Not too bad.
So you could argue the first 6 points, the first 2 points are very easy. First 6 easier than probably say Labyrinth or the normal Ascendancy equivalent, but the last 2 points will be quite a lot harder than the regular Ascendancy 8 last 2 points.
And this is in parallel / addition to your existing Ascendancy class and its progress. So you have 2 classes here to clarify.
Yeah, and that last one that was revealed was like a little bit of everything. pretty cool. Was charms. Yep. So the unique specters from the Breaker of Oaths, including bosses like the Hydra, was certainly a surprise. Can you have more than one Hydra specter, or like an army of bosses?
You can have up to your specter limit of Hydras, but they cannot be desecrated. So once you have it, once you have the item, you buy it from him. You can only specter it once. Once it dies, then you have to buy more of them. But it will be hard to find them.
It's going to be hella hard.
You can trade for them. I really wanted this whole I wanted you to be able to find the NPC and then be able to effectively buy something from them that could be worth multiple divines, and I'm like, a Hydra could be worth multiple divines. Like, let's see if we can do that.
You can buy these and trade them even if you aren't that class.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
So there's a reason to look at the shop for all of the NPCs, regardless of whether or not you're
note to self, chat.
Other people can use them.
Always check the shop.
Fragility of the Hydra.
Yes. Well, it is worth noting the Hydra's health in particular is relatively low. So you do have to keep it alive. The specters in general they're pretty interesting. There's a lot I've tried to go for where we've gone and tried to give stats that other builds wouldn't use. Like there's one, for example, where one of its properties just says your owner, as in the player, has 5% more attack damage.
Cool.
Or melee attack damage. I can't remember which of those two. And then if you get all your specters, you can get like 40% more attack damage. But now you're a melee build that's investing in plus specter limit, and there's some interesting weird things you might be doing there. And then of course that means you need minion life, otherwise they're all just going to die.
Spectre falling zombies, chat. Easy,
hopefully some
easy.
Kind of weird, interesting builds that come out of this, where you have unorthodox builds using specters that you normally wouldn't.
And you had that interesting one with Fire Fury and.
There's a kind of, I don't know what they're called, but it's effectively Fire Fury and Hellrake, and they specifically, the Fire Fury one becomes empowered if there is if you also have a Hellrake Spectre, and the Hellrake Spectre says the same thing. So then you want to run 2 different ones, which again is also kind of abnormal, because normally when you do play a Spectre build, you stack a lot of the same thing. So it's promoting a bit of just different gameplay around that.
So there's something going on between the Fire Fury and the Hellrake. Then they have some backstory together.
They're empowering each other, for sure.
They are. Fanfic authors take note.
Yeah, here we go. New fanfic in progress. The charms for the Wildwood Primalist, they capture random parts of other Ascendancy nodes and allow you to create a new one in kind of like a build your own Ascendancy fashion. What sort of limitations are there? Can you just get like any power from any node?
You can't get anything. I can't remember exactly what you can and can't get, but there are some stuff that is like it's binary and ultra powerful, and like That's just too much power to give from a single node like that can have 2 modifiers on it. So you can't get everything, but you can get most things, and even in some cases where they are binary, we've made non-binary versions of that property where it's like can either be chance-based or percentage-based, like a portion of it. But they do stack as well. So like, for example, you can get the 3 sockets, and obviously you can get like, we showed, say, the Occultist Curse Explosion. Like if you just want to go all in on the chance of that, you could try and get that on all 3 of them. But again, it's going to be pretty rare. They're unmodifiable, but again, tradable. And I'm expecting, again, going under the philosophy of I want you to be able to find these NPCs and occasionally find something worth a lot. I do want it to be that occasionally you find one and you get multiple divines worth of a trade because you find just the perfect charm.
And again, you don't have to be that class to find the charm.
Yes, yeah, we'll keep reiterating that, yes.
Yeah, there's some
shops.
Yeah, the shops should be valuable.
The shops are very important, yeah.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it. Are there any limitations to this primalist shouting items at corpses thing? It's like, are people just going to be going around shouting at every corpse for extra loot?
Well, it's one of these interesting, and this one's been very controversial, I'll point out, internally. Don't get me wrong. See, for me, I really like it because it's a thing where if you're an efficient... Well, okay, let's think of it a few different ways. Firstly, if you're destroying corpses, it doesn't work, right? There's no body left to get loot from. So you can deal with spikers and or the porcupines and among other things. But so
Rip Discord.
Oh, we had a bit of a
go back now.
Discord dip there. I'm going to just start that part again. But one thing to note is that yes, you have to have the corpse around, which means you have to be playing a build that doesn't destroy corpses. Meaning, of course, you have to deal with the porcupine Goliaths. I don't know who heard that before, but whatever. And then the other thing to note is it actually rewards slower players more than faster players because you have to Warcry, which is cooldown based. Are you really going to wait around meticulously Warcrying on every single corpse, or are you just going to move on and kill more monsters and run more maps? And so if you want to get the most out of your map, of course, that's a way to do it. But if you want to get most out of your time, that is not the way to do it. So yes, you could like Warcry, bind it to your left click and then just Warcry whenever it's available and get whatever loot you can get.
I reckon opening the chests is the
opening
that's time efficient.
Opening chests is a big time
that's the main use of that skill, I would say.
But it is worth noting, just to get into some specifics of how that works as well. It doesn't care about the monster's quantity and rarity. It does care about map quant and rarity. So a boss is just going to occasionally drop like an item, if that. It doesn't like re-drop all its drops. So it's not like ultra powerful. Due to that, it's probably honestly going to yield a little bit more, like, it's more for like getting a little bit of extra currency than it is getting like unique items and rare items and stuff like that.
I'll ask the obvious question that you knew you'd get when you added a backpack inventory expansion. Do you think you'll give this to people outside of the Primalist?
No.
Short answer, no. But I mean, look, we chuck these in, we experiment for 3 months and we see. This was also the node of the second highest level of controversy internally. We'll give it a go, we'll see what happens, but like I do not see that thing returning outside of the Primalists after the league, even if the league happens to go core, Yeah.
Controversial league design, it sounds like, internally. Oof.
Well, they're 3 months experiments, essentially.
Yeah, we like to try things.
I say controversy, it's fun.
It's not like there's a shouting match or anything going on. Right? Like it's just.
Well, one of us isn't shouting. No.
We've got some more chat questions on Affliction before we move on to some of the other features. When you enter the Wildwood, do you start at the last place you're at? Is it like a continual exploration, or is it a new area each time?
It's not continuous, no. It is effectively an infinite forest, but you're put in a random place every single time. It's new exploration. It isn't continuous from the previous areas, no.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good
Feels
thing.
slightly like the idea of Delve without the actual specific.
It isn't really like Delve because it doesn't have the whole like big map or anything like that.
Are the wisps tradable or collected as currency items at all?
No, I mean they're tradable to the vendors, but that's not really trading. They're usable as currency for the vendors, but aside from that, no, they are. And between instants, they don't carry over at all. Right? Because once you leave the Wildwood, they're dispersed, so you don't get to keep them at all. No.
Mm-hmm.
And just clarifying for people that missed this detail, you'll be able to use the regular Ascendancy class alongside the Wildwood Ascendancy class. It's extra on top.
You will eventually get 8 points in both. Yes.
Sweet. Can monsters attack from the fog of war in Affliction, or only once they're fully revealed? Ooh, good question.
That's a good
you will
question.
Not
Yeah.
get, no, you're both not going to be like given an advantage as a ranged character to shoot into it, and you will not be attacked from it. They will not do similar to Delve Darkness. They will come out of the darkness before they engage with you. And generally, only things you reveal will actually engage with you.
Do map modifiers from the area you entered the Wildwood from affect the Wildwood, or is it completely separate zone in that regard?
The map mods do affect it, yes. And
oh wow.
where it doesn't increase the amount of wisps you get, it does increase the loot you get in general, which multiplicatively applies with the bonuses the wisps
sense.
give monsters afterwards. So you are obviously to get max rewards like normal, you're incentivized
But
to
pack size works on the monsters in the Wildwood.
Oh yes.
And because pack size works on them, that means you do get more wisps if you increase pack size.
Ooh, increasing pack
because
size.
there's part of the drops of those monsters as well.
There are monsters that have wisps already in them in the forest, and they will give wisps. So yes, pack size will increase the amount of wisps you can get.
Which actually means that pack size can increase the duration that you can stay in the Wildwood, if I understand that correctly.
Different wisps.
Oh, different. All right, because that's the right. Okay, so it doesn't. It's just increase the rewards then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just more rewards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
between this and the
technically
wisps you're
difficulty.
freeing, it sounds like a bit of a map juicing league then.
That was what I was going for. I really like things like Delirium where they overlap with all the other leagues.
Yep.
It's worth noting on that point. You might think, okay, the wisps disperse into the air and affect monsters once you exit. It will also affect monsters that are then spawned afterwards. So if you then go and activate a breach, there is like a portion of the breach monsters will be dusted as well, and thus their rewards and difficulty will also be increased.
Very cool.
So yeah, it overlaps with any in-area league, I believe, as long as the monster gives loot and experience. Which obviously if it doesn't, you don't really care about it. So
This league sounds cracked. I like it. All right. Talking a bit about Ultimatum, the long-awaited return. It has been a long time in the returning. Did you face some specific challenges with its re-implementation or something?
Main challenge, I guess, was finding time to actually do the rebalance and reassess it. But like once we found the time, which we did, we got through all that, and now it's finally coming back. But yeah, it just comes down to time. We've got so much we always want to do, and just finding the resources to be able to get someone to fully reassess it and make the changes that we want it can be challenging for sure.
So it's not just something you wanted to just slap back in as it was then. It sounds like it's changed a fair bit.
It's had a substantial amount of work done to it. It is quite a lot there. There's a lot there. Yeah.
And obviously it's going to be very different to how it was given the Atlas passives as well, and how you can modify it and change it, which will be relatively fun. But taking that into consideration as well is something that we didn't have to deal with before that we do now.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that Ultimatum was so popular and so requested to return that it was like the number one thing asked about at ExileCon? Is there anything to learn from that for future league designs?
Well, I think about it, and also why do I think I like it? I mean, the mod selection is fun. I like how it works in parties as well, and I like, for people who know my Aurabot addiction, I love playing in parties where you get to vote on the mods and you go and pick the mod that no one wants just because you want to. Or you're an Aurabot and you pick that mod that causes your auras to apply to the enemies, and you just hopefully your teammate,
And the double or nothing stuff is also very. I don't want to use the word addictive because that's a bad word these days, but definitely addictive.
Oh, I love that, and I think a lot of people resonate with that as well. Where you when you've got the divine orbs on the line, or the headhunter on the line, or like just whatever items on the line, it's like the thrill is just, it gives you that adrenaline rush that I almost used to get in Hardcore League. When I actually played that a lot more. Rest in peace.
It's risk reward, to put it another way, right? It's good risk reward stuff. Yeah.
Sure. Yes.
I think it had a unique pacing too, with intense action break, intense action break.
Oh yeah, for sure. I like that as well a lot. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say too many lessons learned aside from just how we can use things in the future. But I guess ultimately the risk reward and the pacing are probably the two biggest ones.
Do
you want to talk about what happened with the combat changes to do with rare monsters and stuff in Ultimatum?
Yeah, I think it was around the time there was a lot of there was a bit of like, how do we make this harder that went on, and it ended up just cranking the rare monsters up. Like, there was just points where there were like 9 rare of those blood chieftains on your screen, and the problem with that, especially with like obviously now looking at rare modifiers, like the level of visual pollution that adds, and like you can't even tell what's happening. Like, there was a lot of going on in that league where there's just a massive crossfire of projectiles and just like a whole bunch of rare monsters, and like, so we've gone with almost a more what we call expedition style balance, which is just like tone that down but make each monster individually more difficult and more meaningful. So it should be that it is less like more comprehensible in the moment as to what you're actually fighting and what you're actually doing, and still difficult, as opposed to just like bam everything, like crank up the rare monster number to infinity. But that's mostly, I think, of what's going on. It's just, which is honestly been working pretty well with respect to our monster balance lately. Right.
So Metamorph is getting removed as a part of this coming back of Ultimatum, with its unique rewards going to Ultimatum. Can you tell me a little bit about that decision, like to remove Metamorph?
There's a few things going on there, but the first is just the visual clarity of it again. Going back to that, like, you put these monsters together and then it just does this kind of like morphing thing. I mean, look, I've played this a lot, and it transforms into something and then I'm dead. I'm like, I don't even know what just happened. Like, what killed me here? I actually don't know. And it is meant to be the case that obviously I know what monsters I'm putting in, and I'm putting in this monster, this monster, this monster, and I know these do this skills, and because this one's in the brain slot, it does this big AoE. But the reality is, like, that's way too much to try and know and remember, and like there's hundreds of monsters with hundreds of skills going on there, and it's like you can't really tell. And so when you do put it together, it's like, oh, I like these rewards, and you put those in, and that's ultimately what you do as a player for that. And so you put in a monster, it spawns, and you maybe just insta-die or you maybe not. And getting that right is just pretty impossible, I would say. Like, I love the mechanic in a nutshell of you get to put monsters together to create a new boss fight, but it just wasn't working.
It was never my favorite league visually either. I just don't think it really looks that great.
Oh no, we dropped.
Oh no.
I'm sure we'll get things back in just a second here, folks. Until then, enjoy the sliver of the side of my head while we get things repaired. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's scripted, chat. Scripted. I'm telling you. So yeah, patch notes when? Hello? After Q&A, yeah. I'm just being impatient. I want to see the values in there, man. You're a sub-quarter. Can I help you, LA, in 3.23? I haven't played it myself before, man. But I might be playing it as my own league starter, maybe. I don't know. Depends on what's in the patch notes. Man, don't they know how to use a proper connection, man? Hmm? Yo.
It's working now.
Yay, it's working again.
Welcome back, folks. Apologies for the technical difficulties.
No,
We are
Discord-
back.
Discord
Finally.
just decided to self-destruct for some reason and then required a computer
Typical
reboot to get
Discord.
back in action again.
I think you
I
guys
don't
might have
think- I
made
don't think
Tane
Metamorph-
mad.
Always be acting up.
Metamorph was a little bit unhappy about being removed, apparently.
So that brings us back to what we were talking about, just about Metamorph's removal, and basically it was a bit of a visual mess and a bit of like a gameplay feedback mess in terms of players not really knowing why they were killed and things like that as well.
Yeah.
And there was actually one other one. I don't know if you want to talk about it or I can, but I think
Sure.
it actually was surprisingly Metamorph was like quite annoying from a maintenance perspective. Like there was quite a lot. Like every time we added a monster, we had to do stuff relating to Metamorph, and like also the way it was originally made was just like a bit annoying. So there was certainly certainly there were a lot
Metamorph was one of
designers
the
who were happy
best
to see it
leagues,
gone
though.
as well with regard to just maintenance stuff as well. So yeah.
And we're careful before we remove content, right?
Oh, sure.
Considered decision.
Yeah, I mean for sure, but it's like there was certainly a lot of factors there.
One other thing about it, I guess the meta endgame thing where you put together 5 boss parts and do it in his lab, like there was that sad thing where because that area was a standalone area, it never got map mods. Like it felt like often the rewards and the difficulty were just underwhelming relative to doing them in the area. I mean, you're less likely to just get insta-killed in there at least.
Yeah.
So in some ways it did it better in that it was more controlled and telegraphed, but in the other sense it was just too easy. Like the thing spawned and then just died within 3 seconds often. The life wasn't high enough. There's no map mod damage. Like, yeah. So it was just due for its removal, honestly.
Yeah, I certainly agree with a lot of issues that Metamorph had and experienced a lot of myself, but I do think there was a good idea there. And like you said, with the boss parts going together, that actually felt like it worked a little bit more. But like you said, it wasn't quite there. So
It was too
something to
damn
blame in the future,
tedious,
maybe.
man.
Yeah, oh, for sure. The idea is, there is a sound idea there for sure that I'd like to see if we can play around with later and re-envision in some way, hopefully.
Yeah, you get the situation where in order to keep it, you kind of want to do all the work to rework it, and if you're doing all that work, you may as well just bring Ultimatum back.
So this does raise a question you haven't had to deal with before, where you've removed a mechanic now that has a premium tab that people have purchased. What is the plan for that?
So that tab, so due to Catalyst moving to Ultimatum and there being the inscribed ultimatums, that tab is just immediately converted to an Ultimatum tab. So it'll have, the Catalyst will now store there, and your inscribed ultimatums will also, I think there's 60 slots for inscribed ultimatums in
awesome.
there as well. So you don't need to buy a new one, it'll automatically transfer over.
Perfect.
That's really good news.
Sounds great. All right. Let me just see if there's any other ultimatum questions. With Metamorph out of the game, will there be another master hideout NPC to replace Tane?
Not currently, no.
Bartane.
Can ultimatum be blocked on the Atlas passive tree so that it doesn't appear?
Yes, it can. The same node that blocked Metamorph has been changed to a new node that blocks Ultimatum.
Cool.
All right. Cool. We have a bunch of questions about transfigured gems. This is a big one, and chat also has a bunch of questions about it too, I can tell. So this new transfigured gem system's kind of a big deal. Is this replacing Labyrinth enchantments, alternate qualities, and threshold jewels entirely?
Short answer, yes. It is replacing it. Belt enchants are gone, boot enchants are gone, etc. Which I like in the sense that it reopens, because those were very old designs. I mean, sure, the belt enchants came newer, but it does free up a lot of design space to use in the future. And with a lot of the changes to quality and what the gems are doing themselves, like the loss is ultimately inconsequential. So yeah, they're gone.
Deal with it. All right. Are there multiple different transfigurations for each skill, or is there one for each? It seems like so many new gems, effectively.
So, I mean, we're still cranking them out. Like, we're not going to stop until there's a cutoff, effectively, and then we'll probably add them later if we still feel like we have to. But we're aiming for 1 per primary damaging skill minimum, but 2 maximum. So it's 1 to 2 per skill, but auras don't get them, heralds don't get them, utility stuff don't. We're really focusing
Just
on
damaging
the main
skills, yeah.
that you would
Makes sense.
primarily normally 6-link and whatnot. I mean, I know you can do higher link herald builds, but you know.
That limit of 2 maximum is just in the context of this particular expansion. If it's a popular system, we can make many in the future.
Yeah.
it allows us to like, so there's this thing where like cleave is cleave, and you could change cleave to something. You could change cleave, but now you're ruining just the kind of like simple thing it is at level 2. You get it at the game, you just want to cleave stuff. So overcomplicating that to try and make it more interesting and new is honestly not the right answer, and it's kind of a thing that's happened to a lot of skills. So now with this alternate gem system, we get to take those ideas that people have of like how we can be transformative with something like cleave, and we get to just add that skill gem without having to compromise that early game experience. And that I think is very, very valuable. And it's, I mean, the possibilities are endless, as I guess I could say, right? Like,
So how do you be transformative with something like cleave? I'm curious. How do you approach that?
well, I don't know. Like, I can either talk about what we've actually done or talk about what we could do.
Both.
I mean, something is you can. Well, actually, okay. Let's go with what we have done. I think what we've done with it, and there's some details here I might be wrong on, or something that might have changed, but we'll just get into it. I think right now you have to be using a sword and an axe, so 2 different weapons, which is interesting. I believe it also scales. I think it generates rage and scales AoE based on rage. So it's kind of like pushing you to be a rage build. So it's worth noting, like, that might sound more niche, and that is the point. That the alternate gems, the transfigured gems, are generally more niche. But the power opportunity is much higher as a resultant of that. So they will scale way better into endgame, and it will save us the problem of just having this extreme like power curve of damage on cleave just to try and make it do an absurd amount of AoE again. So
Are there any other cleave?
I think we've just got the one right now. We experimented with a few others. I think there's one with them pale, but I think we've gone with that on double strike now, and like some stuff with bleeding. But that's gone on something I did. So many. There's the hundreds of these things, and we've gone through so many hundreds of iterations that forgive my memory a little bit. But yeah, there's a lot going on there for sure.
How does this affect Val gems? Do these new versions have Val versions, or only the originals?
These new versions, well, technically the way it is worked now is just you can have a Val alternate cleave, and that just grants Val cleave, but it doesn't have the same mechanic, so it won't have the rage thing. It like technically the Val skill is a separate ability, and so yes, it can be corrupted to grant that extra ability, but it doesn't have the same properties. No.
Gotcha. Yeah. So are they always going to be just strictly better? Because that cleave version sounds better than regular cleave, or is it sometimes going to be they're just quite different?
It's strictly better if you embrace the niche, yes.
Right.
If you are investing in rage and specking into and using the sword and axe, then yes, of course, it's better.
I mean, you can't exactly say that the one that has zombies falling from the sky is strictly better, right? It's just a totally different. It's just a totally different thing. So, yeah.
It looks pretty awesome.
It does depend on your definition of better, of course, but I'm talking about just like raw clear speed or raw, boss killing speed. Yes, from that measure, like especially with respect to the low level skills, that is often going to be the case if you embrace that build and that kind of more niche build. But yes, again, there are plenty that are like hard to compare. Like the Frostbomb is a good example. Like different. It's now a clearing skill as opposed to a more utility focused skill. Not having the cooldown, for example. So a lot of them fill different roles, and so they can't really be compared one to one. But yeah.
I mean, it's definitely going to shift the meta a lot. Like,
because meta's going to be something totally different now for sure.
It's shifting it enough that if people were to ask me what I'm going to play, I actually genuinely have no idea. I honestly am. I don't know. I'll find out in the last day probably. But
is this something you might explore with utility skills or support gems, things like that as well in the future?
It's a big maybe. Yep. Support gems. I haven't really thought about a support gem case. I mean,
the thing with support gems is you can just add more support gems, and you don't need to worry about modifying the existing ones really. So
you may as well just add more.
Yeah.
Alternate heralds. It can be done in some cases. Yes, it can be. But we'll see whether or not it finds need for it. It's just in those cases, it's like it goes from giving buff A to buff B. Like doing it with an aura, like you'd have to do something very wildly different to make it really transformative. Otherwise, you're going from just giving a certain stat to giving another stat, and that's not really what it's about.
What does this mean for heist in terms of it losing one of its big rewards, but also like specific heists that were gem type heists and whatnot?
So the way, how that works now is that every single tile set just can. So the rewards are no longer bound to the, I should say, the rewards from the display cases at the end.
Yeah.
At the end of the blueprints are no longer bound to the tile set of the base item type of the blueprint. So you can get kind of any of the rewards. You can get replicas from any of them. You can get alternate base types from any of them, or experimented base types, and you can get now currency. One thing we did do is buff the currency. Like we did certainly obviously acknowledge losing the gems removes some of the value from running heist, quite a lot of it. So we buffed the currency just to make it better. So when you do get to the end, you have less like miss cases where you just get like 2 chance orbs. It's like that from completing a blueprint, that's just like completely insufficient. We have added new trying to make chase ones, but as it's pretty hard to reliably make chase uniques because the meta and the players kind of ultimately control what that is. But we've tried to add more powerful ones. We have rebalanced a number of replica uniques, and we've rebalanced a lot of experimented base types, including trying to emphasize that the jewelry, the amulets and the rings have some very, very powerful alternatives.
Ooh.
Honestly, they're probably probably the best amulet you can get now is an experimented base type amulet.
Awesome.
Obviously, they're pretty hard to find. And
Pretty hard, pretty expensive. Yep.
It's 5 new replica uniques, I believe.
Yes, I believe there's 5 new replica uniques. Yeah,
and 10 other uniques in this expansion, so 15 new uniques total.
Yeah,
I think we mentioned that in the.
Yeah. Nice. So safe to say, heist will be something you'll be keeping a close eye on, then to make sure that the rewards are up to par now after this removal.
I hope so for sure. I mean, me personally, I'm just excited about those experimented base type amulets and rings. Like before, we had the -1 prefix, +1 suffix, and now you've got like -3 prefix, +3 suffix, and -3 suffix +3. The invert of that, and like it's like, what kind of ring can you make when you've got 6 prefixes? Is that better? Is that worse? Or like 6 suffixes, and then there's like ones that reduce the amount of. There's ones that reduce the amount of prefixes but increase the potency of suffixes and stuff like that. And so
I stop hearing about this part.
Yeah.
I'm like, geez.
Get that facial expression as well when
It's like, you sure about this?
Yeah. Jonathan and I have seen the code to handle this stuff, and we're both like, "Ooh, how does?"
No, it's just
Hey, it's good.
It's just
Nice.
Cool.
I like when seeing devs learn about these things for the first time. So good.
There's always so much going on that it is nearly impossible for everyone to know everything.
For sure. Yeah, that makes sense. So people are obviously pretty excited about the transfigured gems. They do look quite exciting, and that's a lot of effectively new skills for us to play with. But it does kind of raise the question about one of the more controversial decisions with this change is that, the Labyrinth, it has fairly different gameplay than most of Path of Exile. It's got like a lot of environmental hazards and traps and puzzles and a labyrinthian layout, and naturally that's not exactly super wildly popular content for people to run. Not everyone wants to play that. So can you tell me about the decision to make Transfigured Gems specifically a reward for Labyrinth, especially since it looks like something that you'll want to run a lot to get more of them?
Mm-hmm. Well, a few things to talk about here. I mean, the Labyrinth is, I understand. I understand how some people feel about it and people don't. But one thing is, it is core content that you do run through the campaign and you do to ascend. And we wanted it to be that the Transfigured Gem system is accessible there, as opposed to, like, say, where alternate qualities were in Heist, even though there was a kind of soft mandatory nature of having alternate qualities. It's like, well, it was the same problem. I don't want to run Heist, let's say, in a given league, or someone does and someone doesn't, and so you have to trade for them. And so for that case, it's the exact same thing, right? You can trade for these Transfigured Gems, of course. But we've done 2 things as well. So obviously when you get to the end of it, you put your gem in, you can pick from the one of 3 outcomes. It maintains its level and its quality as to what you put in. So the skill doesn't just become worse.
It doesn't randomize the skill.
But
That's good.
sometimes there is an option that will transform it directly into its transfigured counterpart, which means if you don't want to, like, you know, take the gamble and just keep trying to pick random ones, you can wait for that and convert your, say, Firestorm directly into a transfigured Firestorm. So that at least will make that a bit easier. But yeah, ultimately, I wanted it to be somewhere where it was introduced early enough, around level 30 is about right. So you're not like, you know, waiting until end game before you can get these. Like, a player can experience these through the campaign, get a feel for them, get used to them, and level them up, instead of getting to end game and then completely changing their entire build. Like, it being early enough, and Labyrinth is around the point where that is, like, you know, a good place to commit to that. And also, you're already doing it for your Ascendancy, so it's a good way to introduce the mechanic to those players, as opposed to just kind of putting it somewhere a little bit random and a little bit hidden. So that's the primary motivation.
Path of Exile has a lot of content that is going to vary depending on player taste. You know, some people like Delve, some people don't. And that content has specific rewards. And those rewards are almost always tradable. And so in this case, if you want one of the gems, you can also trade for it if you don't like Labyrinth.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm interested in that idea of like players running into it as a regular
holy
gameplay.
shit.
Does that mean there's a pretty good likelihood then that each time you run like Normal Crawl and Merciless Labyrinth and whatnot for the first time, and say you only do them those times, that you're going to actually get a pretty relevant gem reward upgrade each run?
The option is always there. So one of the crafts on the bench is always to convert it to a transfigured gem. So it's not like that one's random.
Yeah.
Whether or not you'll get the one you exactly want, obviously isn't reliable, but you will always get. So if you put in the common one that's put there is if you put in an int gem, you will get a transfigured int gem back. So at least
it won't randomize to like strength or dex.
And if you don't want to take it, you can just be like, no, I don't want it, and take your gem back, and then try again next time. So it doesn't like force you to.
Doesn't
you can
brick
put
it,
your primary skill in there, hoping for the best. And if you don't get it, you take it back, and then just keep playing your build, or you run it again if you want, or you can wait till crawl and run it. And it is worth noting that, let's say I know this is a bit later in the game, but the Uber Labyrinth has 2 crafts by default instead of 1 now. So when you get to the end, you get a few more opportunities at doing it, and that's one tactic could be knowing that the easiest labyrinth is the shortest and easiest to get through, obviously being lower level and shorter. You can, at like a high level player, could just go and run that a number of times just to try and get the right transfigured gem. But obviously you won't get a lot of the good crafts and a lot of the good rewards that also come from it. But if that was your way to try and get your most appropriate transfigured gem the fastest, like that is a tactic you could do. So it's not really meant to be ultra taxing and time consuming to try and get the one you want. But again, as said, if you buy it.
I know their Discord's
That
dying
sounds like,
again.
from a reward perspective, that it's quite good for both lab runners and also people just doing it just the once. As
It's
they
really
go
good for
through.
lab runners.
So I like the reward sounds of that. But are there any planned changes to running the labyrinth itself or making the labyrinth better in the future?
We went over that a lot. And as a simple, again, going back to we think of it like this: we could have done that, or we could have added ultimatum. It's a resourcing problem. Not to say those are the 2 options, but what I'm saying is that it is very what it needs is a lot of love, and we need the time to do it. So yes, we had a massive list of changes of things we wanted to do, and we just couldn't find the time to do it. So it is something I definitely would love to do later, for sure.
All right, next league, guys. Good, nice, cool. Sounds good.
I was about to joke confirmed, but that's a bit dangerous.
I said it for you. Will we get to see all the gems before launch? The transfigured gems?
It is our intention to start posting them, yes. As we're still churning through them, I think our plan is to start posting, we'll do a series of posts. I could be wrong. The community team can correct me at some point, but I think it's to do a series of posts, and as we then make more, we'll just do more posts and just keep adding them until the last very possible moment.
It's worth mentioning with this kind of content, because it's so parallel and because so many, every gem is optional because there are so many possibilities. We just start 200, and then the ones that are finished get released, and the other ones get released later or scrapped, and we don't know what the set is going to be currently, and we're just going to keep going till the last minute getting these in, and yeah, it should be interesting.
All right. For standard players, what's happening to existing alt quality gems and lab enchant items and stuff like that? Are they sticking around?
I think the enchants remain. alt quality gems, I do believe all of this will be in the patch notes after this, so I might say some stuff, but I do believe alt quality gems just get converted to regular quality, retaining the value.
But the quality that is now different because we've changed.
Oh yeah, well that's it's worth noting that the quality on every or almost every single gem, I think the word quality appears 314 times in the patch notes.
Holy shit.
There has been a substantial quality adjustment to all the skills. I know this is tangential from the question a little bit, but we're going with a more multiplicative approach there. So instead of like just a lot of gems being 20% increased damage or 10% increased attack speed, we're trying to really look at what is the skill doing. Like if it's something that is about duration, we instead add duration, but instead of doing 20% increased duration, we're adding like +1 or 2 seconds, like, or +0.1 per quality kind of thing. So it's meant to be more multiplicative as opposed to increases, because there were skills where obviously the more of the increase you have on the passive tree, the worse the quality becomes, or vice versa. So yeah, but this is, I think, changed with a lot of the base skills as well, mind you. I think Discharge in particular is one where it's like it has increased area of effect per charge consumed, where that obviously could get to a massive amount of increased area of effect, which means if you're playing that build, then investing into like a 10% increased area of effect node on the tree is ultimately doing nothing. Like you're going from 200% increase to 210, like it kind of doesn't really matter. But now, so that's been changed to be multiplicative as well. So as we've gone through and done this qualities, we've tried to do that on a lot more gems to make the gem more like about its base stats, and the passive tree is multiplying that as opposed to adding with those stats, which does yield a fairly large amount more power for a lot of these skills.
That sounds like a quality change. I love it. Sorry, couldn't help. We've run over time, but just a couple more questions before we finish up today. So in the past, it was pretty typical for expansions to come packaged with some pretty substantial changes to skill balance. Obviously, we're getting like a ton of new skills. That's obviously affecting like skill meta and whatnot. But the last few leagues haven't really had much in the way of skill balance, and we're finding like, player expectations there. And is that something that you're continuing to like not do, or any thoughts about that?
Again, a lot of it comes down to honestly time, but for this one, I really wanted to do something that wasn't just playing that almost cat and mouse game of like upskill A and then next league upskill B to be comparable, and then maybe it goes too fast, so then you upskill A again, and if you don't do that, it's just nerf central, right? So where we do that for some extreme cases where we bring them down, I wanted to do something that really wasn't just, let's up cleave by 10% and something else by 10%. And again, noting I don't want to add mechanical complexity to a lot of skills, especially early, because it just makes them more convoluted and confusing. So this was a system that allowed us to not play that game, but yet add thousands and thousands or millions of possible permutations. And we're going to be less hesitant, given time resources, less hesitant to change the balance and change alternate gems or add new ones. So it's given us a system that allows us to do future balance a lot without compromising kind of that core game and that new player experience at all.
It does. It's also like, the quality changes are a pretty substantial balance change to existing skills. Like that's a big.
Oh no, that is
a big thing.
For sure. And a number of skills have changed. Like what we've done is simplified some base skills because we have, and then what we've done is taken what they were doing. So an example of something we're trying to do, I don't actually know if we've done this because so maybe not. I know I probably shouldn't mention things like this, but for example, you get ethereal knives, and it's got all this talk about lingering blades going on. And yeah, most people who play the game in advance know what lingering blades are, but like a new player is not going to know that at all. So ideally we return EK to its former glory of what it was, and then we add an alternate gem that's really emphasizing that lingering blades mechanic and benefiting from that. And then we add another alternate, how many more alternate gems we want to. So it's allowing us to restore some of those, especially lower level gems, to their simplest forms as what they should be, and then also give them a rebalance. I think often it's resulting in them being a little bit stronger early, which is going to change a little bit.
That's sort of cool.
I like the resultants a lot better, where you're not getting overwhelmed.
I just like the fact that we have different choices still, and that we aren't forced into having one like specific alt quality.
Really emphasizing that mechanic more, and if you then go down that path, it can become even stronger than it ever was.
If a player is approaching the feedback of there need to be balance changes based on the fact that they feel there's some staleness in the metagame, if they feel they're playing the same
That's
kind
really
of
awesome,
modes
man.
for a number of leagues in a row, then
I love
the
it as
transfigured
well.
gem stuff will have fixed that, right?
Super exciting.
Every build is now affected by there being multiple different versions of the skill available.
For sure.
There will be, it is going to look entirely different. And it's worth noting, transfigured gems came from me sitting down with Mark and saying, the players have an expectation for significant balance changes. The problem is we can't really do any. We've hit the point of like having to make the skills more complicated. What can we do? And Mark suggested transfigured gems, which, as Jonathan Blow would say, there was immediately tons of gold on the ground to pick up with that design thing, right? You know, it's so much cool stuff we can do, and absolutely is going to affect every build in the game.
Great. So conversely, talking about ascendancy changes, last league Chieftain underwent a pretty big overhaul, but its rework seemed to have few fans in the end. It's at around 2% pick rate for most of the league in softcore, although it did gain some fans in hardcore, it seemed at least. What sort of goals do you have for like larger ascendancy changes like that, and do you feel like the Chieftain hit the mark?
2%'s not bad, to be honest. It's still
Not
10
bad.
times higher, 20 times higher than what it was. Or maybe even infinitely higher, because I think it was 0.0% for a while. Obviously rounding. But honestly, I would say it didn't quite hit the mark, but like there's a fine line to tread when it comes to ascendancy balance. Like 2% is probably less of a failure than 25%. Because if everyone's playing it, it's ridiculous. Or we go back to like Slayer Cyclone era where there's 51% or something. I'm going off Pro Ninja numbers, obviously, so high level players. But that's within a kind of like realm of acceptability. But yes, I would say like in an ideal world, it would have been a little bit better than what it was. So, but geez, it's hard to get that perfectly right, like for sure. But yeah, and obviously if something does get used in hardcore and sees more use there, that is something we like to see, and that's cool. Whether or not it's intentional or accidental, generally it's just the players discovering what's best. Like we don't plan around that kind of thing, but yeah.
Is it something you're going to continue working on then? Like not Chieftain specifically, but also just in general, trying to get something right with those pre-existing ascendancies?
It'll every so often it's going to come up where we rebalance a given set of them, or maybe we do a like wide sweeping numerical changes, or maybe we take two and completely redesign them, or take one and redesign it. But again, it's all at the expense of something else, and we just have to weigh those decisions. Like again, there's no time to do that when you have 100 to 200 between there of transfigured gems to make. It's the same people doing those things, so. We just have to make those choices as to what we want to do. And maybe there is a better metagame thing we could be doing, but eventually we're going to circle back to them and we're going to rebalance them or remake them, yeah.
And you did add 3 new ascendancies in this experiment.
Yeah, technically, yes, there are 3 new ascendancies, yes.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much for spending so much time with us for the Q&A today. We did run a bit over time.
Awesome
I
stuff.
appreciate that, and it was a pleasure to talk to you all. Thank you, Chris, Jonathan, and Mark.
Thank
you
you.
very much, Liggy. It's appreciated.
Thanks.
Well,
Thank
great
you.
to talk to you.
And I
Alrighty.
hope to
Huggers,
see some
dudes.
epically crazy builds on release day.
Yeah, awesome stuff.
Hardwood.
Thanks very much for watching, folks.
All right, awesome. Thanks.
Gotta put a heart in the chat, boys. All right, very nice. Cool. Now we just need to wait for the patch notes, chat. Ooh, shit. My drop, dude. Totally forgot. We got a drop, chat. Easy drop, dude. Easy. Was feel anxious to look at patch notes? Oh man, I'm how do I describe this? It's like, when you get the butterfly effect in your stomach, right, chat? I've got that, right? But it's like not butterfly. I don't know. It's just fucking weird. But yeah, now we just need to wait for the patch notes. Oh shit, patch notes are out, dude. What? No ways. Ow, already? What the fuck? Alright. There is a lot of stuff. Crazy, man. Okay, well, I need to first go and make me some coffee, chat, because I'm dying of thirst right now. Holy shit, dude. Actually dying of thirst. I think what I'm going to do is move it this side. There you go. This will make it easier. About that big, yeah? Seems good enough. Oh yes, wait, Vol skill gems also changed their name. Ooh. Alright, chat, I'll be back in 5 minutes, dudes. I gotta take a little break here. And then we can go through the patch notes, see what is installed for us. Maybe something spicy. Who knows? Alright, chats, I'm back. I'm sorry. Let's see what's in store for us. Okay, so Ultimatum, Metamorph, Atlas, Transfigure Gems. Okay. Let's see. Ultimatum is now core. 4 new dev cards. Alright. Following uniques have been added to the core drop pool. Ahuana's Bart, Akoya's Gaze, Dead Reckoning. Ooh. Defiance of Destiny. Ikiao's Promise. Marta's Teaching as well. And Rocky Arts' Dance. Okay, cool. Yo, what? But there's 16 new uniques. I thought they said 15. 7. Oh, interesting. 5 new experimented base types. That sounds juicy as fuck. Added 633 more foiled unique item options. Holy shit, dude. That's gonna be impossible to get good. Ultimatum added, yes. You have a chance to be teleported to Trial Masters Arena. Okay, that's good. It's only from 81. Is there anything juicy? There's 4 tiers. So the Tainted Catalyst can be obtained from the Trial Master. Applies a random quality type and an amount of quality to a corrupted ring, amulet, or bout. Oh shit. That's so good. Like, oh fuck. That's so good. But because it's random, it's going to be so difficult to get 20% of what you really want, right? I'm guessing. Can vendor 5 for 1. So you can't get catalysts from Ritual or Delhi. That's fine. So I would rather just go through these on the Atlas tree. Well, on the Atlas tree itself. So much reading. So the sextant modifiers. Okay. Number of golems will be a quality of transfigured gems. Ooh, shit, dude. Is there a Spectre one? Oh, man. I'm so tempted to just go straight down there. Super, as you'll be able to use 2 minion builds with golems. Oh, yeah. Easily, dude. Easily. And they can be equally as powerful, right? You don't have to actually, like, focus on one or the other. You can actually balance them for sure. Okay, so Atlas changes. So remove maps. Change location. Okay. All right. Imagine adding lightning golems and absolution. Dude, it'll be sick. You have like, what, 8 lightning golems or something? I think that's what you can get up to. Like within a reasonable amount, should I say. Prom and secondary regarding lenses can no longer be obtained. Be direct. Tainted blessings can no longer be obtained. Obviously. Carrying golems with Herald of Purity. Dude, that'll be even more insane actually. Yeah, you can now actually combo like you being DPS with your minions, you know. You don't have to rely on it being one or the other. Nothing else is... Wait, Grand Spectrum unique jewels no longer drop from Rizzaro's chests. They can now drop from Labyrinth Troves and Emperor's Vaults. So it's only Merciless and Eternal. I mean, that's fun. I wonder if they changed the drop rates on them then. Okay, so yes, alright. The Animus Stone unique jewel no longer has +1 to maximum number of summon golems. They now have transfigured skill gems available that serve a similar purpose. Okay, that's interesting. I think that's the most interesting thing I've read so far. What the fuck, dude? Dead Reckoning no longer has minions have the scaly mages now causes skeletons to gain added chaos damage equal to 20 to 30% of maximum energy shield on your equipped shield. What the fuck, dude? That gain added, so that's flat chaos damage on your equipped shield. Man, that sucks actually. What? Nah, dude. Hello? What is this, dude? Probably added to gem quality? Yeah, I suspect so. But that's sad, man. It's such good jewels. Anyways, Absolution quality now causes minions to have increased cooldown recovery rates instead of dealing... Oh my fuck, dude. Does this actually say 40% increased cooldown recovery rate? Are you kidding me right now, dude? Yo, you can pop off with Absolution then. Alchemist Mark. Nice increased area of effect. Okay. Ambush is now cooldown recovery rate instead of crit chance. That's fine. Ancestral Cry is now 40%. Ancestral Protector now provides melee strike range. That's good. War Chief is increased damage instead of activation range. That's also a good change. Personally, you'll try maybe 5 builds. It's going to be a hell of fun. Jeez, dude. 5 builds you already have in mind. What the fuck? How fast have you gone through this stuff? Or am I the only slow one? Yeah, chat. I think I'm the only slow one, probably, right? I suspect so. Animate Guardian no longer has increased maximum minion life. Minions deal increased fizz damage with attacks or fizz damage, and now there's 0% more minion maximum life and more minion damage at gem level 1, both scaling up to 38% at... No. Animated Guardians now have roughly 11% more base life inherently. And now I have 2 to 6 physical damage while unarmed. What is this, dude? Currency ain't a problem. Oh yeah, without a doubt, man. Arc is buffed. More chains per quality. Ooh. Explodey Arc is back, dude. What's up, Mirage? Why did they buff Tornado Shot even further time to play it for the 4th league in a row? Yeah, I don't know. And I was actually planning on playing it as a league starter, so it kind of like reassured my decision to play it now. But at the same time, I don't know, man. Like, there's so much stuff here. It's so overwhelming. When full MF in Guarded 100, 8 mod fully juiced. Serious? Was it easy to transition into Magic Fountain Benekia? Or was it like really expensive to get all of the maps and that set up? As base gems, odd quality will get in next days. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Definitely. Yo, what's up, Chaotic? How you doing, bro? Who the fuck are you, dude? Excuse me, sir. I don't know this familiar face. Animate weapons now provides up to 2 maximum animate weapons. Yo, that is huge. That's crazy damage. What is that? Arc now has base crit chance of 6. That's really good. 10% chance to shock provides more damage with ailments for each remaining chain. Quality now is +1 times instead of providing the chance to shock. That's really, really good. Those 8 days, you're going to see thousands of league starters. Oh yeah, for sure, dude. People are going to be creating builds left, right, and center. Everyone's going to be deleting all of their old characters. They're going to be like, fuck this shit, dude. It's time to experiment, man. Took you 400 devs. Oof. But I mean, like, early on to transition into Magic Fund. Is it, like, cheapish? Been jamming CS2. Ooh, damn, dude. I've also been jamming some CS, actually. I thoroughly enjoy it, but I still suck at it. But yeah, I know that I haven't been here, but I will be here from now on. Don't you worry, dude. So Arcane Cleric now provides increased buff effects instead of the effect duration. Dude, that's huge. What? Armageddon brand. Everything's just getting buffed like crazy. This is exactly what we've been needing all along. Literally this. Skill deals 10% more damage with hits. That's good. Armageddon brand buff too. Thought it was 15 divs, put them into juicy maps, and you had Magic Fountain was right, but lacks a bit of damage. Yeah, that's what I'm mostly worried about is the damage part in order to like clear quickly enough. So I think I'll probably, I don't know, like farm up until I can get head onto, because I don't want it to be slow, you know. Like slow is boring. I don't want to speed through this shit, dude. Artillery Ballista. An additional arrow. Very nice. Ball lightning now provides 2 meters to radius. Wait, what? So maybe you can potentially get more ticks than you used to? Bane now causes applied curses to have increased effects, so they just doubled the effect. That's alright. Barrage, additional projectile. That's crazy. What the fuck? Battle Mage's Cry now 20% cooldown recovery rates instead of the increased AoE. When you're gonna be on next time? Well, I've got a busy ass weekend from tomorrow. Well, actually from today now. I'll be on probably Sunday, so in 2 days. Yeah, in 2 days' time, I'll be back. Back for good. Bear Trap has base duration. I don't see. Okay, I guess that makes. Yeah. Am I going to my brother's for launch? No, I'll be here at home. Because I don't get load shedding anymore. I have permanent power. Like right now, my power is off for my entire area and everyone around me. And I have power. It's so awesome. Fuck the government, man. Wait, am I even allowed to say that? Yo, Berserk cooldown recovery rate. Wow. How come? Well, I've got solar now, so I don't have to worry. Like, we pooled a lot of money together to install solar, so we don't have to deal with the issue anymore. Wait, Blade Vortex blades no longer has more area effect per blade. Now provides 0.1 meters to radius instead of increased area. Wait a minute, dude, wait. Does that mean that's less radius then? If it's 20, that means you're getting 2 meters to radius, right? How much was the 80% more per blade? 5 blades. I don't know. Blade Flurry. More damage with hits and ailments for each stage. Yo, that's crazy. What? Blade Trap rotates additional times. Okay. Yeah, I've got the power, dude. I got the power, and I've got the strength now, and I've got the mots. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with me. Good, Blade Vortex, and now deals the same fizz, which is a little higher later. Okay. Hit rate for each blade. Damn, dude. Hit rate for each blade. That's pretty damn good. Was there any bow skills yet? No, not yet. We're getting to them now, soon, very soon. Blade 4 no longer leaves 50% fewer lingering blades. No longer has 100% crit chance. Less damage per volley. No longer has the critical tag. Wait, what? Now provides 1 volley instead of... Wait, what? Oh, okay. I see. That's actually a really good buff. Blade Storm +1 to maximum Blade Storms. That's really good. Blasterine as well, an additional arrow. Blazing Salvo is the meters. Okay, so it looks like anything that previously had the increased area of effect is now inherently being moved over to the meters, which is going to be interesting to see how it scales with all of the skills, area of effects, and that stuff. It's pretty cool stuff, man. Balat provides base duration. I mean, Balat base duration's good, right, chat? I think it is. Blink arrow no longer has the damage. So the arrow clones now have 75% more damage and more base life. So it's basically exactly the same thing as to what it was. Cooldown recovery rate. Ugh. Your ranks on Mirage now? Ooh, damn. What rank did you get on Mirage? I jammed a few Premier games and pretty much got wrecked the whole time because it's either a bunch of hackers or people that have got skins that are worth thousands of dollars that have no life. Am I ready for this? Yeah, dude. I'm always ready. Hit me up. It's probably a higher rank than I would be able to even achieve myself. Silver 2, what, dude? No ways. I was actually guessing in my head Silver 3. That's pretty much what I would get as well. I'm not that good. You have a 5-man? Oh no, dude. I'll solo queue. It is really bad. You don't, dude. You don't even want to know the type of shit I experienced. Just terrible. Body swap now causes the skill to deal 4% of your maximum life as fire damage. Wait, what? That's huge. Do I have solo quad? It's so bad. Yeah, it is really horrific. Cool. Bone Offering gets increased effect. That's huge as well. Bone Shatter is more damage per trauma. That is crazy. What the fuck? Brand Recall has now got the recovery rates. That's pretty decent. Burning Arrow is 20% more damage with Ignite. Wow. Burning Arrow is pretty promising. Caustic Arrow has meters to radius now instead of the AoE. Chain Hook now causes you to gain rage if the skill hits any enemies. Wow. What is that? No, we're definitely gonna see some shenanigans with Chain Hook. Definitely, dude. CS matchmaking. You have 12k. Damn, dude. And you play with the 5k enjoyers. I think I got to like 4.9k and I was gonna rank up to 5 and then I just stopped. And now I just play casuals to get my drops, pretty much. Because I have more fun there. Got the PS5 in the bedroom. You've been smoking weed pen and playing Ghosts. Nice, dude. Oh, shit. Literally living the life, man. But I'm really happy that all is well. Your side, chaotic. So a charge dash causes the illusion to move your movement speed. Okay. Cleave has got the meters now. Alright. Cobra Lash projectiles deal. Alright. Wait, Cobra Lash now has up to 2 times chain. Dudes, what? That's crazy. 2 times chain on Cobra Lash. Cold Snap. Nice. More effective chill. That is huge. More effective chill. Oh, my sack, dude. That is crazy. You can scale that with the mastery. Oh, that's huge. Get 350 points every win. You only lose 100 and lost. Damn, dude. That totally sounds balanced. Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah. However you spell it. I think that's how you spell it. Oh no, Consecrated Path. Cause a skill to deal 10% more damage with hits to closer targets. That's okay. Contagion has the meters, Conversion Trap, base duration, whatever. Crackling Lance, more damage with hits per intensity. Hello? You can have 6 intensity, that's 60% more damage. Okay, Crackling Lance is looking pretty good. God damn. Trying to wait for it to come out on PC. Just not joking. Probably the most beautiful game you've ever played. Serious. I haven't actually checked how pretty it looks. Creeping Frost is meters. Cremation fires projectiles faster. Oh no. Oh no, chat. Cremation has received a pretty good buff. Cyclone. Now 10% increased area effects. Okay. So Cyclone buff as well. It's pretty good. Passing's so amazing and it gets tough. Serious. Sure you can have 5 intensity. Or 6 intensity. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 6, right? Oh, shit. Intensity. Man, it is only 4. Sorry, my bad. Oh, dude. No. Over reading path updates. My ADHD completely off topic. You see that squirrel? Ooh, did you see the pink squirrel? Yes, the one that was crawling up the wall. Look, there's. What? But yeah. 4 is the max intensity. The what? Strap back shredded. That's good. Yeah, I thought I was the only person going insane. So wait, Dark Pact sacrifices skeletons life to deal that much chaos damage. Yo, what? What is... Oh no, chat, oh no. Ward loop. Oh no, ward loop, oh no. Huge buffs to dominating blow and hero of purity. I'm getting to it now. Soon. Wait, minions have increased cooldown recovery rate. What the fuck, dude? Nah, dominating blow OP. That's crazy. Yeah. That means that they'll slam like 0.3 seconds faster. That's crazy. Decoy totem, link, I don't care, DD. Chance to detonate an additional corpse. I mean, that's alright. Discharge more AoE per charge. Okay. Quality now provides up to 10% chance to deal damage without removing charges. I mean, I don't know. It's alright. Divine Eye now is 10 stages. From 8, right? I think it was 8. Beam now deals 240% more damage per stage. Jeez, what? Divine Eye got doubled. 100% more damage with Aeon. What, dude? It no longer has 50% less damage while channeling. 40% chance to gain an additional stage while hitting, or gains an additional stage. Okay. Increased beam width. What the fuck is this, dude? Oh no. Nerf of the Exile. This is insane buffs. What is Divine Eye right now? So I experimented with Divine Eye totems. When was it? Like 4 months ago, right? And they seemed pretty damn sick. Like even for bossing. Obviously, clearing was a little bit shit because, you know, it shoots a small little beam. So, yo, are we gonna go Divine Eye totems this league as well? Oof. Supposed to read them one after another. I do read them one after another. Don't you worry. Always do. Out loud. Oh, really? I refuse. So wait, double strike now gives a 20% chance to deal double damage to bleeding enemies. That's crazy. Deal strike, more damage with hits that are on full life. Okay. I mean, yeah, alright. Earthquake, 30% more damage. That's crazy. Fisher gets an additional Fisher as well. Wow. Been a long day. Work seeing you on gave you a second wind. Awesome, man. I am very happy to hear that, actually. Yeah, I can just imagine it must have been super fucking hectic for you. And it's still gonna be crazy for like another, what, month for you, right? Or actually a little bit less. You're done? Done with what? Element hits is more 5% more damage per ailment on the enemy. That's cool. Energy Blade, 5% more maximum energy shield. Don't know how I feel about that. The crit chance was huge because the crit chance was inherent on the weapon, increasing the base crit chance of it, which was fucking crazy. It gave like 9% crit or something in total. Debuff, Essence Drain. I mean, Ethereal Knives fires 2 extra proj. Wow. Sanguinate, base duration, explosive arrow. 2 to maximum explosive arrow stuck in an enemy. Yeah. First nerf or useless change, Arse Trap. Yeah, I mean, let's just be fair, right? Arse Trap has been number 1 on the DPS logs for a very long time. Well, in terms of PoE Ninja. Like, you throw a bunch of them down and boop, every single boss just disappears. It is so stupid. Explosive arrow, pretty cool. Concoction, reduced charges used. That's really nice for early on. Explosive traps, smaller explosions. That's nice. Winter fires up to 2 shard projectiles in a spiral when projectile ends. Yo, what? That sounds really interesting. Fire trap. Increase trigger area of effect. Wow. Is that for RF? Fireball has a base radius, scaling up to 1.4. That's pretty okay-ish. And then you get the extra 2. Firestorm is increased. Okay. Flame Blast got stages. Flame Dash. Alright. Can make a Flame Dash bold now. Because of the fire damage over time affects spell damage applies to it. Flame Link, I don't care. Surge, 20% more damage. Alright. Flame Wall, +1 to maximum flame walls at a time. I mean, I don't know. You can have like 4, 5 or something up. Like, why would you even want one more? Flamethrower trap, recovery rates. Flammability is duration. Okay. Flash offering increased. Okay, so all 3 offerings got 10% increased effect of the offering instead of the duration. Flick strike. So doubled the chance to get a frenzy charge on hit. That's nice. Forbidden Wrath has up to 2 extra prods to surrounding enemies. Nice. Freezing Pulse no longer has 19% increased projectile speed. Why, dude? Why do they keep on shitting on freezing on why do they keep shitting on Freezing Pulse? Why? I don't understand. Frenzy, more attack and attack speed per frenzy charge. That's alright. Frost Blades. 2 proj to Frost Blades. What? No. That is unethical. Frost Bomb no longer causes reduced energy shield regeneration. Okay. Frost Wall, recovery. Frost Blink, maximum distance. Frozen Legion, recovery. That's pretty decent. Galvanic. Okay. Shock enemy. Yeah, right. General's Cry has an additional summon Mirage Warrior. That's really good. That is really good. Glacial Cascade now causes the final burst to deal up to 50% more damage. So you can Glacial Cascade Mines again. Maybe. Glacial Hammer. Third successive strike deals 100% more damage. Okay. That's very nice. Ground Slayer, more damage with hits to closer targets. That's also cool. Heavy Strike has got the 20% chance to deal double damage. Herald of Agony, quality now provides up to 5 to maximum virulence. Wow. That's massive. 5 virulence, chat. Do you guys understand how much extra damage that is? Whoa. Crazy. Okay, it's not actually that crazy, but it's still pretty decent. Base burning, 5% of overkill. Okay. So Herald of Purity, increased cooldown recovery as well. Man, minions are just gonna pop off, right? Herald of Thunder now has increased frequency. Ooh. Auto Bomber, hello. Holy Flame to Totem, 40% proj speed. Ice Nova. Yeah, and no longer expand from up to 2 frostball. Okay. Ice shots. Increased area of effect angle. Wow. So you can like shotgun with it now, pretty much. That's very nice. Ice spear. Ooh. We've got the multiplier back on Ice spear, boys. Transfer traps to trigger an additional time. Meh. Ice Core is proj, Immortal Core, okay, Incinerate stages, that's decent. KB now causes the skill to create up to 1 additional explosion instead of provide. What, dude? What? an additional explosion from an existing like 200 explosion. He's gonna give you like an additional probably like 40 or something silly. Kinetic bolt, nice spell damage that applies to it, 50% of the value. Okay. Once steel proj, alright. I mean, okay. Lightning strike gets an additional proj back. That's pretty decent. Mana bond. Now causes the skill to deal base lightning damage equals to 10% of missing unreserved mana. Interesting. Molten Strike. It's okay. Orb Storms 2 edition. Okay. Penance Brand. It no longer spreads energy to nearby enemy. It now immediately causes an explosion when the branded enemy reaches maximum energy. It no longer causes an explosion when it expires or detaches. No longer has an attached duration. Instead, remains attached to the enemy until it reaches maximum enemy. Yo, does this mean that we can no longer use Penance Brand to proc our curses and that stuff? No longer gains damage or radius. Okay. This race got a big buff. Policy now provides 30% chance to summon an extra minion. Yo, that's really nice. Yeah, if you have a bit more cast speed and you can then you can drop what is it called? Oh man. Then you can drop Unleash and put in an additional support. Even more damage. Whip rate. Okay. Poisonous Concoction can inflict withered. Power Soften fires projectiles at 4 to 7 instead of 4 to 7. Wait, what? 10 to crit multi. Dude, that's crazy. Power Soften login. Puncture, we don't care. Ooh. Ooh, Purity of Elements. 5 to all Ellie rays. Purity of Fire. Additional Fire. Ice is additional cold. Lightning is additional lightning rays. That's really good. Race Spectre now causes minions to have 20% to all Ellie rays instead of providing 20% increase in minion movement speed. Well, I mean, it's not like the gem already inherently gives them what, like 80 to all rays or something ridiculous. So why not just give them another 20, right? Because then it's 100. Zombies no longer attack enemies with an area of effect slam. They now only attack enemies with a melee attack. What the fuck, dude? Gemini's minions have more maximum life. Dude. No. Are you kidding me right now? Did they do us dirty like this? They legit said, we don't give a shit about zombies slamming and dealing damage and being cool. No, we want you to blow them up rather. 38% more maximum life. Oof. You can legit make raining zombies an insane build this league, for sure. Reeve, an additional 2 stages to Reeve. What, dude? Okay. Reckoning cooldown recovery. Whoa. That's pretty crazy. So wait. You no longer get the base fire damage on RF. Oh no. That's a nerf, right? Apostle says the recovery rate. Rolling magma. Okay. Steering bond. Additional totems. What the fuck? What else is interesting? Snap. Additional stage. Spark. Yo, Spark, you can get an additional 2 projectiles, even though you're losing projectile speed. But that's huge. Spectral Helix. Now causes projectiles that have pierced to deal 10% more damage. That's decent. Spectral Shield Throw, 2 additional projectiles as well. Wow. Spectral Throw got the pierce as well with the more damage. Spell Slinger. Okay. There's the offering. Split arrow, up to 4 additional arrows. Wow. Oh no, I see summon. Oh no. Karen Golem no longer has increased max life. Okay. Increased buff effect. Okay, so all of them is increased buff effect, right? Summon Holy Relic is 40% increased buff effect. That's pretty crazy. Ice Golem is increased buff effect as well. No longer has minions deal 38% more damage. Instead, the Raging Spirit's melee attack now naturally gains this damage scaling with level. Okay, cool. Man, I'm gonna be honest right now, chat. I am seriously thinking of making a minion build. But a very special minion build. One that I made very long ago. Yo, how long are these patch notes? What the fuck, dude? How small the bar is. On Earth, the corpses spawned now have increased life? Wow. Volatile dead, increased orb movement speed. That's pretty huge for clear. Wave of Conviction. Wait, Vortex now has a second cast time. No longer be cast on frostbolt projectiles. So it got a bit more damage. Holy shit, at level 20 it got gutted. Heat Shiver is nerfed from 100 to 30? Fuck yes. That makes me happy. Finally, it happened, dude. Ashes nerf no longer has mana reserve. Oh shit. Yeah, Wintertide more damage per stage. That's very nice. Vol animate weapon also gives 2. So wait, you get 2 and the Vol also gives 2. That's crazy. You can get 4. Like when some OP items are balanced, so do I, dude. We're almost there. We're almost there. Stimulators, yeah. Okay, well, the Vol domination's cool. Basically, all of the Vol variants gives whatever is extra to the previous changes on their inherent effect. Yeah. It's like the projectile, the radius, and all of this stuff, you know, more damage, multiplier, you know, additional arrows, and yeah, okay. Well, that's actually really, really good, right? Because now the Vol variance on skills is more so for like clear, right? Because I kind of feel like it wasn't, but yeah, I'm just rambling. Ancestral Core, extra targets are supported to be further away. Ooh, cool. Okay. Right. Behead, increase damage. Okay. Eventual. So it calls them to take. That's nice. Cost when damage taken support requires 10% reduced amounts of damage taken to cause a trigger. That is pretty cool because in most instances where builds require them to take a certain amount of damage, it is nice to have this. Plus combat, alright. Cluster, increased trap trigger effect. Cutting strike causes you to recover up to 2% of life, alright. Feeding Frenzy now causes support skills to increase mini movement speed instead of causing Feeding Frenzy to have base duration. I mean, that's okay. 40 our spots, increased damage per frenzy charge. That's pretty nice. Freeze, okay. What else is interesting? Maim is increased effective maim. That is huge. Maim got a pretty good buff. Damn. What else do we see here? Increased melee damage on multi-strike. Replica Bones of Allure, unique boots now cause summoned phantasms and raging spirits to have a 10% chance to refresh the duration when they hit a rare. Wow, dude. I mean, yeah. If you couple that with the quality, new SRS League, I doubt it. Considering all of these other changes and that, this is just crazy. I don't even know what I'm gonna do for League start and that. Like, this is just insane. So nothing else there. Spurs, anything good for me? For you, but for many others. Oh yeah, for sure. People are going to be on top of it like crazy. Increase minimum movement speeds, such as the one found on anime. Okay. So now skill gems will show the total number of projectiles or arrows they fire. That's good. And now skill gems display their radius in meters. Okay, well, kind of saw that coming. Players can now touch up to 50 nearby normal or magic monsters. Okay, that's good. Back to play. No longer causes her to leave. Okay, that's good. So yeah, Ashes no longer provides the reservation. Heat Shiver is the nerf, yes. The Dragon's Fang Flats. Okay. Also reduce the reservation. Okay. Grim Spirits. That's 300 life recovery. That's good. Also nerf. Touch Annihilation. Okay. So Ephemeral Edge no longer scales off of minions maximum energy. Oh, lame, man. Rollercoaster's Impatience. Alright, that's good. There's the Bones. Replica Mist Wall. Okay. I mean, yeah. It's like they should have called this a Path of Exile 3.23 Gem League. For sure. So it looks like all weapons got damage buff, right? Well, like the bases, right? Well, not all of them, but quite a couple. Ruthless changes. Oh no. Kirak League mods available during 3.23. Fortune favors the brave for 3C. Torment for 2C. Anarchy for 3C. Ambush for 4. That's actually really... Holy shit. Ambush for only 4 chaos, chat. That's crazy. Beyond at 5. Blast at 6. Expedition at 8. And then Ultimatum at 10. I mean, that's fair. Hovering. Alright. Bunch of bugs and that stuff. Okay, cool. Well, yeah. I wasn't really jamming much recently, so bugs isn't anything that I actually ran into. Oh yeah, it was only the Eddie Rares for that. I mean, Divine Eye totems or some form of like mass minion build is what I'm thinking. Otherwise, it's going to be Tornado Shot at this point. One of those 3 to League starts on my mind right now. Holy shit. This is insane, man. Actually insane. I don't think it's really a buff. I think it's a crazy buff, man. Especially if it's coming from totems. Because remember, if you're using totems, right, you're going to be mana based on that. And Sigil is buffed. Cloak is buffed. Probably... what else is going to be buffed? Remove the line where channeling beams grants additional spawns. I don't think that'll be that much of a problem though. Because they can... Based in the pack, you could gain stance 5 times faster. Yeah. I think it's just been changed like this so it can become sort of a clearing skill, because it says, I mentioned a little while back that when I was trying it out, the clear was pretty clunky. But yeah, that is pretty cool shit. Starter Packer would have fired Wolf. Was fast. Oh. I mean, yeah, we can only wait and see. But yeah, overall, chats, this is pretty crazy, man. I don't know, it's... Oof. There's gonna be so many different builds now. I cannot wait to see what some people cook up. But yeah, overall, I am super excited for the league. I'm probably gonna cook up something during this week. Well, we will, or whatever. Does 4 damage every level, so it kind of clears faster. Maybe, yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Alrighty then. So we've got 7 days and 19 hours to go. That means technically I have got 5 days, 5.5 days, not even. Yeah, like 5 days maybe. Shit. Alright, cool. Well, that was nice and exciting. I hope everyone else is just as excited. But yeah, chat, I will be back in 2 days' time. Yeah, 2 days' time. And then it is some theory crafting, checking out spoilers, and sorting out a starter tree, and also a atlas tree as well. Very important atlas tree. Hopefully that comes out sometime soonish. 168 replies already, damn. Wonder how much rage there's gonna be. Oh shit. Alright, anyways boys, that's it for me. I am hella tired right now. I honestly feel like I can just pass out right now. But yeah, shot for watching guys, I appreciate it. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day and that. And yeah, I'll check you guys in the next one. Time to sleep. Sweet. Later, chat. Peace the fuck out, boys. Have a good one, dude.